Hello, everyone. It is Tuesday night, and we are here. It is live. We got a great show tonight for everyone. It is the NLG show. It is 9:30. We got great guests. Hopefully, ones that can stay the whole time. We'll see. We'll see. At Power Grid, you know, what are you gonna do? But
keep the hamsters fed so they can keep them running.
Hang on, let me get your. I'm getting a picture up here for you. Hang on, this is as I say, I am the most professional
oh, look at that
podcaster on the on the internet here. So, but this is all your fault, Spooky, because you don't have your camera yet. But you make me do this. You make me do this. Hold on, that's all right. But we are gonna have a great show tonight. We have two wonderful members of just our family. You know how we do it. But long time coming to have Brother Spooky and Sister Trinity on. I've been waiting with excitement to have you guys on. Welcome, and thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. It's an absolute pleasure.
The pleasure is ours. And Spooky, you and I have already been on the air together, as I was over on your channel month, 2 months ago, maybe. I don't remember what.
Yes, sir.
It was in July, I think. Shooting the breeze and chopping it up with you. And I was awesome. So I was like, okay, so now it's his turn. And so I said, but there's a catch. I have a requirement. You come on. We got to bring Trinity with you. And so and so wonderful to have you both. Spooky, love you to death. Glad it look, everybody that knows and follows you and follows us who follow you, a lot of us are glad that you are on the globe. It's so great to have you here.
Man, it's an absolute blessing, brother, to be quite honest. Because it was a bit touch and go there at the start of the year, obviously. Especially the stress and everything for my family, and to be able to sit where I am now, and be a month away from actually getting back into work, it
That's
is amazing. It's
That's
absolutely
awesome.
amazing. I've come along like leaps and bounds from
Yes, you have.
when I woke up. So it's been progress, and at the start it was slow going, but yeah, here we are today. You know, I still have my off days with it, obviously, and still have some lingering issues and that, but no, I'm certainly getting there.
Yeah, Brother Yobi says he's gonna send you a webcam.
So sweet. He'll be a sweetheart.
And Trinity, I actually pretty sure I met Spooky through you. I think I knew you before I knew him. So in a way, you know, we go back longer. So
Indeed.
checking out your awesome streaming, which we, you know, we talk about and give you a chance to tell us about, and just, you know, your positivity and what you bring to the community, which is, you know, it's exactly what, you know, folks like us over here, it's what we are drawn to. And so it's been really easy to you know, to become friends and talk and have you here and you know, just be, you know, stand next to you in this community, because you are what the community is all about and what we're about. And so this, having you on tonight, is a definite long time coming. It's a definite pleasure. And you know we love you.
Love you guys too. You guys rock.
Oh.
You have no idea.
You are the metal. You are the metal ninja. You're the one who rocks. We just pretend.
Oh my.
I know for a long time, you know, I've been following you, Trinity, for a long time, and I think it was a couple of years ago. So I remember talking to you, trying to get you on here, but we just never were able to work it out. And I know you were having.
You're not as charming as Myke. That's.
Oh, I know.
Oh, for God's sakes! Oh Lord.
Well, no, Myke had a charm Spooky, and then Spooky, you know, then Trinity follows. So. No.
Well, no, I made him bring her.
No, but I mean, you know, I know Trinity. You know, you kept, you know, you do your streams, and then you had issues, right, with the stream and so on. And I remember you saying, "Well, you know, yeah," it's like, "Well, let me try to work my stuff out," you know, and then we'll see. But you know, time goes on, and here you are. So great to have you. Great to have you, Spooky, and glad to see that you're doing well and getting better. Because it was scary there for a second, sir. You had us worried there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, brother, yeah. You're telling me. You're telling my family, man. That
Yeah.
was, by the bedside,
And that's one of the worst things, you know, on here.
Yeah.
We meet so many people from all over, and we may not know each other in person, but over time, you know, we share a lot of things with each other, and
yes,
we all consider each other friends. And it's one of the worst part is to lose a friend on here. You know, we've had a couple of folks in the community that have passed away these past few years. So, you know, it's part of life, but seeing you come back, and, you know, it was a great thing, inspiring thing. So
yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, like I look at that, I'm having my kids to fight for, especially my three little ones that are at home. You know, they keep you going, so yeah, keep you on your toes and that. And you know, apparently they were like reading and stuff while I was down and out to me, so that, you know, constantly communicating, and you know, they were playing music as well. And so the doctors believed, you know, that obviously triggered the old brain waves and got some action happening when there looked like there was just nothing happening whatsoever there for a while.
Yeah.
Well, and thank you, Trinity, for keeping all of us in the loop. You know, she gave wonderful regular updates, and it helped us to fight alongside her, pray and continue to keep you, I prayed for you for a long time.
Yes,
and that it was non-negotiable for me. So, just
see, the
really.
thing, I was just going to say, the thing probably I've found the hardest is see out of all this, there was every possibility too. Like, they were telling my family that even if I did come out of it, I could have been like a complete vegetable, so to speak. Like, not being able to do anything for myself. And initially they were worried because I couldn't grip nothing. It took me a bit to be able to even grip a cup or a mug, just for example. But probably the biggest thing now that I'll find that I may still have to deal with too, for the rest of my life, is that I'm still processing things, but I'm not processing things as quickly as I once was. So it's taken me a bit longer to process things these days now.
Yeah.
And as long as you keep improving and getting back, that's what's important. So
yeah, exactly.
Keep throwing those questionable karaoke videos up on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes.
She said, yeah. She's like, that is the look of, can you please stop?
You know what? Honestly, no, honestly, seeing him enjoying himself doing what he loves is a blessing, because
absolutely,
again, after what he's gone through, that's a major improvement. And I am just thankful to God and the community for helping him and myself through this, because people have no idea how hard that was. Again, thank you guys for that. And on top of that, I want to add a thank you to his auntie. His auntie is thebomb.com. She's the one that kept me in the loop.
Yeah.
Yes, through everything, because he's in Australia, I'm in America. So that was hard not being there when he was dealing with all of that. So she was like my what's the word? Person, like, just, telling me the updates of what's going on. And so I was so grateful that she took the time to do that during that hard time, because it was very traumatic. I've never gone through anything like that before mentally, and I wasn't even acting like myself when he was going through that. So it was super duper hard. So again, thank you guys for blessing us with your prayers and all of that. You guys rock.
Of course.
And I appreciate you guys so very much.
I couldn't even imagine what that feeling is like, especially being half a globe away.
It's like
extra hard.
Yeah, and see, it was like majority of my family too, because it's only a small contingent of us here in Australia, and it's like a real older, I guess you could say, contingent, apart from myself, obviously, and my kids, but all the family back in the US, they they're half a globe away, so they couldn't be here by my bedside and that, but that was something else that was going on too. Like my auntie had her laptop and stuff like that, and was video calling like nearly everybody known to man in the phone book there. So and they were Skype calling and everything. They were doing everything, apparently trying all these different things, just to get me to wake up. So I was very grateful and very thankful to my whole family, even those over there that couldn't be by the bedside, other than via computer, obviously. It was the outpouring from family and from friends, that I've met through the gaming community was unbelievable. Truly blew me away once I did actually wake up and I think it was about a week after, I had a chance to sort of catch up on messages, and my auntie was showing me my DMs and stuff like that. So it was really something beautiful to see, to be quite fair.
Well, not just getting back to it, but I mean, you jumped back into the podcast arena. Not only with the one-on-ones you were doing, like the one you and I did, which was such a fun time, but getting back in it with the Backlog Bastards, which has been a pretty good hit.
Yes.
Right. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit and kind of get some of that. In the meantime, we've got Mr. Peter, who's coming back fresh from vacation.
Yeah.
So
now he's ready for another vacation.
Vacation. Work. Yes, especially a Tuesday after a long weekend, which is basically Monday squared.
Yeah.
Oh, how was the beach?
Beach was good, sandy, but weather was good.
Very nice.
And,
we did miss you. We did miss you last week.
Yeah, I miss being on, but sometimes you need a little TLC. And
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, the beach was good. The pool was good. The ocean was warm. Did some cool stuff. We went like go-kart racing all afternoon, which is cool too. And then, man, that was like one family. They were from Ontario, and mother and a daughter. She was 12 years old, but man, they could race. They that was sweaty racing. But that was really awesome. And my daughter was having fun too because they had 2 kids. So it was all good.
It's different. It's different when it's for real and it's not a video game.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go.
The last round is like, okay, I went all in, and they called me a ringer. So
they don't like it they don't like it in real life when you actually throw banana peels off the back of the go-kart.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the turtle shells, they hurt. Dang it.
That would suck.
Yeah.
But it's good to have you back. A retro advisory board. He held it down, but he's not Peter. Hopefully he's not he's in the chat yet. Oh, we always love Rab, and I know he was telling us that one day he does want to come on when you are on, because he knows you guys are
sounds good.
Birds of an intelligent feather. So but it's good to have you back. And Chris, how you doing this week? How's your weekend?
I'm ready to go back on vacation too.
You
I went on a 3-day little mini vacation to the beach here down South Texas. So it was great. Well, we did get some rain, but all 3 days that I always get up early, go for a walk, and you can see the storms looming in the background, and it was beautiful, knowing that they were coming towards me. And I went on a long walk, I think Saturday, and I knew I was going to make it back to the hotel in time. Get caught up by the storm, but it was cool though. I mean, it's still beautiful. But and then later on that day, we were able to get a good, sun came out, getting a good 4 or 5 hours of the beach. But before that, I went to the Lexington. You ever heard of that? So down in Corpus Christi, we have the Lexington Carrier. It's a museum. They're permanent. And you can walk inside, go down into the ship, the quarters, and see everything, how it was, how people lived on board, and they got all kinds of stuff there about World War II and stuff. So it's great. I sent a picture on I don't know if you saw it, because you said you went. Was it you? You saw? Didn't you see a Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah, we watched it on Sunday night.
So they had a F-14 on there, and they had the names Maverick and Goose there on the aircraft. So because you can go on the very top deck also. They had different replica, different aircraft that are retired.
Nice.
But other than that, just enjoyed the time off. Then when I got back home, I was off Monday and played some more Saints Row. So just getting further in that, establishing the Saints.
Nice.
So
all right,
game better than the reviews. Your opinion?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think if those who were reviewing a game, you really have to play through it a little bit longer. You can't just go through the intro and maybe play a little bit of the open world, do a few missions here and there. You really have to keep going because, like I was saying last week, the missions, as you're progressing, it really starts opening up what the Saints are, where they're coming from, and how you progress through, right? And then you start learning more and more of each character. And they even admit in the deal that, hey, we're the new up and coming, and we understand that, we're kind of ridiculous, They even mention that. But overall, it's a fun game. I've had some real cool missions where you just, shooting it out. And there was a train heist that I did over the weekend, and that was fun, just progressing through that train heist. So, but it's not a perfect game. I mean, there's some of the mechanics are a little bit awkward, but that Saints Row's never been. I know in the beginning they came out to want to compete with GTA, but I think they, over time they realized, well, that's not us, and we want to be different. And this one kind of is a combination of the first two and the last two, right? 3 and 4, just a little bit of ridiculousness, and then but bringing back that old school.
There's a lot of psychedelic kind of things going on. Because I must have one. I forget which one it is. It might have been the prior one. It's like all, when he's on drugs and hallucinating and all that stuff, and I was like, horrible.
I haven't come across that. I don't know if there's a mission on that, but no.
Okay.
I haven't seen that. But I'm having fun.
So what would you say? Buy,
all that
wait
matters.
for sale, or
If you enjoyed Saints Row, the old school and the new, I'd say get it. Okay. You like open sand world like GTA, but you're not expecting it to be as good as GTA, better. Then you're gonna have fun. Then I'd say get it. If you're not sure, you never really played it before, I say wait for a sale. Because
I've sort of come to this conclusion that if you buy a game for $60 or $70 and you play the crap out of it and you enjoyed it,
you got your money worth.
It was worth. Yeah. It was worth it to you.
Uh-huh.
Even if it's not worth it to somebody
later, okay? I'm gonna bring back. I thought that one back at you later.
I've never. Wait a minute. I've never said otherwise. I am not a fan. I am not a fan of gatekeeping. I never have been. Lord knows if anybody knows what gatekeeping video game stuff is going on right now, it's me. I don't wish that upon anybody. So, it being for, if somebody else wants to wait for a sale, that's great. But if you bought it at full price and you played it, beat it, put 30, 40 hours into it, and at the end of the day, you loved it, nobody else can tell you otherwise.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I bought the gold edition. I'll be enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah.
There you go. Unless they stripped co-op out of it.
I mean,
last one I played
Stripping
was the
out.
second.
Like,
Infinite, they didn't strip it out. It was like fair.
it has its issues, like here and there. Like the mechanics of the wingsuit are a little bit funky. But it's still fun. It is what it is. Like I went in like only expecting it to be, you know, typical Saints Row, over the top, just dumb fun, I guess you can call it, you know.
Remember the game Steep? That wingsuit was a piece of junk.
Oh yes, yeah.
That was horrible.
But other than that, that's about it.
All right, that's not bad. So, let's see. I did get a lot of Atari VCS videos ready in a hopper, so I got some videos to make. I picked up Yar's Revenge Recharged. That's really good. I picked up Missile Command Recharged, and that's a pain in the ass. Good game, but hard. I did get the Cowabunga collection, which I did play last night. I streamed it last night. First stream in quite a while. So, it is. Oh, she's frozen. That's one hell of a pose to be frozen on.
That picture.
Yes.
You have to go out. That's the way you go out.
That's the way you go out. Oh, I think we might have lost her.
Let it go, let it go.
Oh, there she is. That is. Oh my goodness. That was perfect. So, poor Tree. We're gonna see how long her internet and her power actually holds up. So.
What's up, Cerebral Paul? Appreciate the
another ball.
And before you jump on your
the poll.
But I've been playing some of that. I did play, so like I say, I played Cowabunga Collection last night, and it's solid. Solid. I'm gonna be doing some more streaming of that, and I did not realize that it is online playable, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, that was cool to see that.
So, the TMNT arcade game, 4-player online. Turtles in Time, 4-player online. Tournament Fighters, I believe for the Super Nintendo's 2-player online. Hyperstone Heist for the Genesis is 2-player online.
Is that new? Or did they have those versions have online play?
Well, they've never been on anything other than their home consoles before. So, Hyperstone
But it's not
Heist.
that you could do a LAN kind of thing.
No, not on a Genesis. I don't think the Genesis ever had that capability of. I don't think it did.
I don't know. Never had a real Genesis.
That I remember.
Only have the
Yeah,
mini
but
Genesis.
what I saw from your stream, Mike, that looked great. Just some of the detail that, like, they were showing the box art, the original box art, how, you know, to what originally came in, right? The games.
The box art.
I mean, that was
the box art, the manuals.
Yeah.
And late in the stream, Chris, I think you'd probably gone to bed by this time.
Yeah.
They have both. The game is both U.S. and Japanese import, so you can play the import versions as well.
Oh, nice.
So
is this a game by Digital Eclipse?
Our brother Myke Micah. That's
can't go wrong with those
No,
guys.
you cannot. I'll tell you what, man, and
the Atari 50 is coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're having him on at the end of the month, because I am so excited for the Atari 50. I'm excited for
Let's do a quick shout out to
108
Dragons TV. Shout out to my Grog family and Breathtaking Gamer and the Rock and Warrior Gamecast, the most amazing people and awesome spirited people. Facts.
Thank you, Lemon, bro.
And
Thank you, brother Lemon.
Fine, man.
he did this to me last night too. This man is generous and just wonderful, and
He's just breathtaking.
And priceless.
he's breathtaking. So,
He is breathtaking.
we have
Hopefully, you got a shirt issue taken care of.
Oh yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
I think he did say he did, and we committed. Lemon and I committed that at some point, some way, we are going to meet. He's only up in New York. I am not that far from New York. It's gonna happen.
You know, I had we had pizza, and it was New York pizza stuff. So I thought about Brother Lemon. I thought, well, he probably will call this crap, but hey, that's the closest thing to New York.
No. We are going to. It's gonna happen. So where are we? Okay. All right. So as we do, brother
Hey, you
Sean's
never
in the
asked what
chat.
games I played. So.
You were on vacation. Did you play anything while you were on vacation?
Of course.
Oh,
Now with XCloud.
I'm sorry. You
I
know
also
what?
brought my Nintendo Switch, and
All right.
guess what?
I am sorry. What did you
He's
play
like,
while you were on?
hello.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I
My
honestly
goodness.
did not figure you were going to get a lot of gaming in while you were on the beach.
Actually, just at night a little bit, and
right,
but yeah,
so
my
do-
Switch stayed in the box, so great. but now with XCloud, I mean, I put my Razer Kishi, put my phone on my Razer Kishi, and I played some. It's called Coffee Talk, I believe. Coffee Talk, which is kind of
I checked it out.
it's kind of a fun game where you have to, it's like a bunch of stories, a bunch of characters, and you basically have to brew different kind of beverages, and you have to mix the ingredients and based upon what the customer wants. So, some like it hot, some not, less hot, less like cool. You can make it cool, with mint and other stuff, and sweet, less sweet, all that stuff. Bitterness. So they have I don't know, hundreds of recipes of things, and the stories were kind of funny. So played that. Not very intensive, but something that's easy to play. Well, could be distracted and stuff.
Nice.
Oh,
All
and
right.
then when I got home, I played Grid Legends, the story mode. Fantastic. Play that game.
It's in Game Pass,
Ultimate
right?
or an EA Access subscriber.
Mhm.
It's like, beautiful.
All right. I stand corrected, Peter. And see, I should know. Peter is
Should know.
Peter's the gamer that we all want to be.
Gaming keeps me sane, so
This is a good point. So, all right. So now, by the way, shout out to a whole bunch of people in the chat that I've tried to keep up with it. Cousin Born, Brother Back, Brother Yobi, who is emailing me something, and I don't remember what we talked about. So he said he's keeping his. He said I'm keeping my promise, and I'm trying to figure out what promise is that. What am I gonna find? I gotta go open my email. So Brother Garvey, Michael Garvey, and good to see Brother Garvey.
Dino.
Dinero primero.
Brother De Niro's in the house. Brother Sean is here. I did not get a chance to say Brother Sean. Brother Sean, my fellow Atari VCS aficionado, Brother Sean, who we are both getting the Atari 50th collection on the VCS. So I can use it. So I could use what I have deemed. By the way, while you were out, Peter, I have deemed. Not email, your actual mailbox. Oh. All right.
Serious.
Oh wow.
Serious.
I have to get that
He
robot
plays
with the
no
camera
games.
back to your mailbox, inspect it, a little robot arm opening it up.
And then you're gonna mail it to Spooky.
So while you were out, Peter, I coined a new phrase, the spinner stick.
A spinner stick.
Yes. I don't know why this is. People don't. Hold on.
Yeah.
You talking about the joystick?
Yeah, the classic one, right? And a little
Had me worried
round
there for a
stick.
second.
Didn't you get an attachment for that?
What?
Somebody made you one?
No, brother Rich, Bacon Ice Cream Productions said he made one. He was going to show me how to make my own. So the classic controller spins in the middle, which is what you use to play games like Tempest and Breakout and Gravatar Recharged. It actually does work. So last week when we were talking about this, I said spinner stick, and people were like, what the hell are you talking about? That's what this is. It's a spinner stick. I have coined this phrase. But that is why I am buying the Atari 50th collection on the VCS, because the games that are coming on that collection, including like Tempest 2000 for the Jaguar and a bunch of other great games, will use the spinner control. So that is what I'm going to be doing. So, but
hey, wasn't there something coming for other consoles as well?
Myke said that there was a controller coming. So we're going to ask him about this when he's on at the end of the month, because
maybe get a world premiere.
Yes.
World premiere.
So Sean is here. Brother Infinite is here from Retro Renegades, who was playing Cowabunga Collection earlier. Definitely after you're watching us, go back and check them out. Brother Certified is here.
Yeah.
We have not seen
I wrote
Certified.
in the chat. He went pro on it.
I know.
He disappeared.
Man, he moved on up, and we not good enough for him anymore, I guess.
I guess.
So, it's good to see you, Brother Certified. It's been way too long. Way too long. Brother, it's Timmy. I just found out about something about Timmy. I did not realize he is British.
Oh, you didn't know?
I did not know this.
He's British.
And guess where I found that out? Guess who I found that out from listening to?
Instagram.
No. I was listening to somebody's show on Saturday, and they were talking about it. I did not know that, Timmy. I had never heard you speak before. So I did not know.
He's a wee little farm boy.
I guess you've never been with him
man.
in a party either.
I have not. So I have learned something new. So we got Brother Paul. Brother Paul's here. Of course, Brother Lemon. We've been talking to Brother Lemon all, so far. Daddy J is here. The man, the myth, the retro renegade. Daddy J, our graphic designer. As everybody knows, he is responsible for pretty much everything you see on the screen. So, I did pick the font for our topics, though. I don't know if anybody notices what the font is. I give bonus points if somebody can figure out what that font looks like. I'll give you a hint. It's retro. Who else is here? Jago popped in for a little bit. He's got to get up at 5:30 in the morning, but he popped in to say, "Hey."
Retro is a courier. It's pretty retro.
Well, these days Xbox 360 is retro.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
I know. So I said hi to Paul. Yeah, The Last of Us is retro at this point.
It's retro.
Considering, right.
New too.
Yes.
Sorry.
Those that are new is old.
Brother
Didero is here. Brother Bryant is here. Brother Scepter is here. Sister Stashnet. What's going on, sister? We have people rolling in.
Which wingdings? 1,
no,
2, or 3?
Brother Screw Watermarks. Hey, what's up, Screw? He got it. First try.
My.
Sega Saturn. He is absolutely correct. It is the Sega Saturn official.
Sega.
Not the official. Yes. Girl right
perfect.
there. It's my girl. That is the non-official official Saturn font. So, the best font is Wingding. So, all right. So, welcome everybody. Thank you, Scepter. Brother Scepter's in the house. It's not Toe Jam and Earl De Niro, but now you're going to go make me find that font because now I want to use that font. I love me some Toe Jam and Earl. All three of them, too, by the way, and Back in the Groove. So, I don't know if...
the new Evercade is coming out soon, or the pre-orders.
Oh, the EXP, yeah. Figure we cover that because there was some...
Capcom.
Yeah, now it comes with 18 Capcom games.
Big news on that.
That's pretty cool.
I was thinking about it, but then it's like, am I really going to play it? If it's going to go the way of the Switch, it's like, eh.
But that's my kind of, again, that's my issue, is that I don't know when I would actually use it. I don't do a lot with I just don't do a lot with handhelds. And when I do anything with handheld, I will use my phone and use my Razer Kishi, and that's how I do it. So
yeah,
I'll play this for those who want to see it.
Peggy 12.
Ooh.
Elevated music.
Yeah. That's an impressive list. Actually. Not gonna lie, that's a damn impressive list of games. He looks intense.
That's tight.
And then he misses connection.
Yeah.
Play some more.
That's not a bad price. $150.
And 18 built-in games.
It's really not a bad price. The guy's gonna miss his bust, the Arrow said. No,
and then also the C64 card is coming out too, or
that's
for pre-order.
That's right.
But then I have those games already on my 64 mini and other stuff that's also collecting dust.
But what's cool about that you could still use the cartridges that were on the older.
Yes.
Yeah. So, in those cartridge collections are pretty cheap. You may not like every game in that collection, but
yeah, they're like $20, right?
Yeah.
It's
not a bad deal, and that seemed like a pretty good looking handheld there.
Well, it is
not too shabby.
Like if you're not into the Nintendo and all that, that might be and someone's a little bit more into retro, that might be a handheld for them.
Definitely. So that's a good point. Now the thing about the EXP though is that those games are digital. That the Capcom games. It's not a cartridge collection that you can play.
They're yeah.
And it's not backward compatible with and all that. And our brother EverCanadian, he covered this. It's a little raw for original Evercade owners that they will not be able to get this.
So they're not even coming on a card.
Nope. It says
I think that's yeah.
In fact, it's right here on the right here on their page. Capcom Collection will be built into all Evercade EXPs and Evercade EXP limited edition consoles. There is no physical cartridge for this collection.
Maybe Capcom would.
Well, yeah, but it's also like certain cards are like only for EXP and 4. It's
Well, and the other thing too, which I think is important, is that there's different. It's built. Some of these games are built. The EXP is kind of built with it in mind. So like 1942, 1943, 1944, Legendary Wings. A lot of the shmups will use the Tate mode, which is where you can flip. You notice on the left hand side where the D-pad is, how there's a little A and B button and they're oriented sideways. You can turn the EXP vertically and play it like this, like the old vertical
arcade.
shooter, like the old vertical shooters. So I get it, but it's still a little sore for original Evercade folks because they're not going to get this. You have to basically buy a brand new handheld to get this collection.
Yeah.
So
it'd be aimed at a newer consumer looking to get into the retro.
I mean, it's a new set of hardware. It is.
It's
going from a PS4 to a PS5. It's like,
but man, it's like I said, it's little.
It'll definitely have its appeal. I mean, you got all those games in the one little sort of device.
Oh, it does.
Don't have to changing the games out. Just go to whichever game you want to play.
And then you can swap out the carts for the carts that are available. It is backward compatible with the current Evercade carts.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Nice.
and then here's that collection that Peter was talking about, the C64 stuff. So if you're an old computer guy like Peter and I, so Peter is Commodore, I was Atari. But I respect the Commodore 64 because it thoroughly whipped Atari's ass over here. And plus it's got winter games.
It was massive popularly in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
That's so big. Ah, so good.
Oh, I know.
Oh, wow. Look at
Uh-huh.
California games.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, winter
Yeah.
games as well.
Yeah. That'd be a good.
That was swimmer games though, with the pole vaulting and stuff. And...
Yeah.
I remember that though. That was so cool.
Yeah, you and I talked about the old computer days, Spooky. Bruce Lee.
Yeah, the Commodore 64.
I love Bruce Lee.
Awesome.
I had this on the Atari. Oh, they just call it Lee? No, it's called Bruce Lee.
Yeah, that's a bit silly.
Street sports
That's
baseball.
They call him Bruce.
Yeah.
They should have just left it at Bruce instead of Lee.
I love that movie too. That was a great movie,
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
So funny. Had Mario Hemingway too, and she was delectable in that. The original Subterranea.
This looks like it's going to be an awesome collection.
Temple of Apshi. Gateway to Apshi. Epics, man, Epics was so good back in the day.
That was fantastic.
Oh my God, Epics was so good.
Oh yeah, very true, Boogie. Good point. He said probably due to rights or licenses to using Bruce Lee's names, possibility.
That could be.
Yeah.
Shout out to Doggy.
No, they don't mess around when it comes to that.
Remember, for 13 months, Spooky and Trinity are awesome.
They are. Oh,
It's not
Impossible Mission.
Hope you're well,
Awesome.
brother, Doggy Dog.
Niall, I'm just gonna start ignoring you, brother. Jump Man. Jump Man. Oh my goodness.
The original Mario.
You're not kidding. I had Jumpman and I had Jumpman Jr. So there's Winter Games. This is what. So if you want to
love
know
that music too.
Yes.
I love the music on the Commodore.
Yeah, that's a good looking collection right there. I'm gonna have to get that one.
I will tell you that between the Atari and the Commodore 64, I will say that while there are a handful of games that run, some run better on C64, some ran better on the Atari, the C64 had a much better audio chip than the Atari did. Much better audio. And I'm thinking of doing one of my kind of retro spotlights. I kind of did it a little bit for Peter when I did the Atari VCS RetroArch one because I wanted to include some C64 for him. I'm going to do some C64 versus Atari computer comparisons just to see where stuff lays out, because like some of the stuff that him and I really enjoy from our that are the same game, like the winter and summer games, Blue Max.
Blue Max.
I had like Racing Destruction set and all that stuff.
What's the other game? We call it Decathlon. Probably Track and Field, where you had to move the stick real quick.
So there was
the faster you move, the faster you run.
There was Atari had a version of Decathlon. It was out on the 2600. But you're right. It was the main game everybody knows from the arcade was Konami's Track and Field. And it had it was just buttons. There was no stick. So you'd hit the buttons, and that's how you would run and jump and stuff. And I've got Decathlete on the Saturn, which is excellent. And Brother Dread, I saw Brother Dread pop in earlier. I'm sorry if I didn't say hi to him. Brother Dread picked up a copy, an import copy of Winter Heat, which is the winter version of Decathlete for me. And he got it import because the import was $20. The US version's $180. So I was like, yeah, you know what? My Saturn plays imports. So
there you go.
All right, so we've got to get to.
You just have to read it in Japanese, but hey.
Yes.
First place is a first place.
This is true. So we've got to get to the Spooky Sprocket and Trinity stories. We may not get to our topics tonight.
Boy.
We've spent the whole first hour just chatting. So
Yeah.
this is what we do. This is what we do. So, Spooky, when I was on your show, you got to hear a lot about my gaming background and things like that. Well, that's what we do here. And anybody who's heard our show or been in our chat knows that when we have guests on for the first time, we want to get to know them better. There's a lot of times that we know people on Twitter, we talk to them in DMs and things like that. And we sometimes don't know as much as we think we do about people. So it has been awesome to hear some stories about the young gamers and growing up and what they were like. So there's two things we're gonna find out. Number one, we're gonna find out about young Spooky and young Trinity, and then I've been dying to know how you guys got together. So,
oh my.
Yes, I've not heard this story of how love found itself across the planet. I need to hear this. This is so. But let's start. Let's start ladies first. Madam Trinity. So, what was growing up gaming like for you? What was young, little Trinity? What was it like? What did you play? What did you grow up on? And what kind of games do you like? I mean, we all know you stream, so obviously, we see that. But tell us about how you grew up gaming. The Trinity story.
Well, for those who do not know, I was born and raised in Anchorage, Alaska. So, growing up back home gaming, freaking epic. The first console I owned was actually the Super NES. I never cared for the NES because back then, as I was like, well, Super NES for me personally has more options than the NES. Not saying the NES games are bad. I just prefer Super NES. So that's what got me started console-wise. So, and handheld-wise was the original Game Boy, of course, where it came with Tetris. So, and I'm a puzzle head. I love puzzles. So, so for like the Super NES, what got me started was, of course, the fighters. I get into fighters. I get into shooters. What else do I get into? There's a lot of things I get into. Racers. I'm really good at racers. So I played Mario Kart, Killer Instinct, Street Fighter, and then back in the Blockbuster days, I rented games like oh Lord, I'm gonna go way back, like from movies like Cool World or the 7 Up.
Oh my goodness.
Sub-Zero.
Oh, Spot.
Chester Cheetah, Spot. Jurassic Park, stuff like that. I grew up playing. There's so many. And then I think let me go to the Dreamcast. Grew up playing Sonic Adventures 1 and 2. Space Channel 5, which is kind of a girly game.
I'm throwing the horns.
Not a lot of people know about that game.
I got
Space
keep
Channel
talking.
5.
I got something to show you.
Oh my. I wonder what he's gonna show.
Probably Spot.
Oh man.
So I could not wait for Space Channel 5 to come out in the US. My copy of Space Channel 5 is the import. And
nice.
It is hard as hell to play in Japanese. Not gonna lie.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Dude.
You are truly related to me.
I have the PlayStation 2 version. I think it's PlayStation 2, which had Michael Jackson on it as well. Yep. It's a special one. So that's another version I have. I can go on, but those are just a few consoles that I grew up playing on. And then, of course, years later, they came out with the original Xbox. I used to work at a video game store and was one of the first people to see the original Xbox and was able to get a discount on the Xbox. And the 3 games that I, was interested in, which is Halo Combat Evolved, Mad Dash Racing, which they need to bring back, and Project Gotham Racing. Those were the 3 games that I pre-ordered with the original Xbox. And I've bought like every Xbox like throughout the years, except for like I think the Slim version or whatever that they came out with in between. I didn't get that. But I have like the main ones. So I can go on, but those are the kind of games that inspired me.
Wow.
Basically.
So like in the early days in the SNES and Game Boy, did you get those for birthday, Christmas? How'd that come about?
Game Boy, I believe I received as a Christmas gift. Same with the Super NES.
Yeah.
I believe Christmas. But my mom, she completely supported my gaming. She was one of those awesome parents, and I was one of those kids that would bring my console in the living room and plug it up. Like, look, Mom, this game is awesome. And I'll be like, look. She says, who's that? I said, that's Mario. She was like, Mario? She was like, let me try. So she tried like Mario 64, right? So she was like, all this jumping's making me dizzy. Here, take this. I'll just watch you play. So she was like one of those awesome mothers, back in the day. So the thing I love about gaming is, in general, it brings us together. We had neighbors back home in Alaska. Their kids had like Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, consoles I never owned, but was able to try going to their house. So it was cool playing Road Rash. I was addicted to Road Rash, even though I didn't own the console or the game. But that game was metal back then. I was like, they need to bring that game back.
I still have it. I still have the Saturn version. You're gonna make me get up and go to my thing.
It's like, look, you're gonna make me get up and get this game now.
But Dreadful says, just make sure you have your pants on when you come back.
Right.
Yeah. You've seen that in the chat.
Oh my God.
That's
Dread.
funny.
So, Boogeyman wanted to know if you ever played San Francisco Rush 2049. That was Dreamcast.
No, Boogie, I did not, sir. There's like
that's a
you
good
have
one.
no idea. There are so many games I'm behind on that I've never played back in the day. So
That was a
yeah,
good
it's
Dreamcast
pretty
game.
crazy. But I'm grateful for the experiences that I've had so far, from with the games then to the games now, even though I'm still trying to catch up. But the thing I love about all the different consoles growing up is that it brought us together as gamers. And I wish it was like that till this day, but unfortunately we're dealing with Jerry Springer stuff. But other than that, I just hope that we can all get back to that again and just enjoying what we love,
Well, I think we do have that.
I do.
This is what this
I do
is. And you're right. When I grew up with Nintendo, NES. Well, but I had friends that had the Segas and all that, and go to their house, try that. So
go.
But that's what this is. It's like you're saying, like Myke said, he grew up with Atari, the computer, and he grew up with Sega, and Peter grew up with the what was it, C64.
C64, yeah.
Nice.
But I mean, like like you said, we all have our different experiences, and we're able to come together now and share those. Like a lot of the guys, Go and Papa P and they and DJC. You look at their background, the collection that they have. You could pretty much name any retro game and they'll pull it off their shelf. It's just amazing to see, like you said, all the games a lot of games I never even heard of or played, right?
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of what this is all about. We're all learning, seeing all this stuff and learn from each other.
Exactly. Like all those games that they were just showing just now, like I've never played those games back then. Because I never owned an Atari. I think my brother and sister did back in the day. Like they played ping pong and all that other stuff. But all that stuff I've never seen, didn't even know existed until now. So that was awesome to see.
Yeah.
So I love seeing stuff like that and hearing the history behind it and why people love those type of games back in the day. I loved that. It's beautiful.
That's what's the great thing about the Cowabunga edition. Because they have all the different versions there, and then they show you the original box art that it came in. That I had the NES and Super NES versions. I never saw the other versions. The box and all that. So that's just cool.
And Fastback, here's another example. My nephew, he has a PS4, right? So he got the Street Fighter 30th anniversary edition. Dude. I played the very first Street Fighter. I've never played that before. And then there's the Street Fighter Alphas I've never played before because I got introduced to the freaking Street Fighter 2 Turbo back in the day, the arcades, because I started out in the arcades. I was one of those.
Same here.
And then I got the consoles later.
Nice.
So, and I was one of those kids that wrote the codes from the books and from the grocery stores because my mom couldn't afford it. I was like, shoot, I'll just write the codes down then.
Yeah.
I was one of those kids, and then I would go up in the arcade and use those codes. I was one of those kids. But just experiencing like the Street Fighters I've never grew up playing, that was priceless. And I said, nephew, I am so glad that you bought this because I'm like, I've never experienced that as a kid growing up. Now I get to experience them now, like years later. That's just the beauty of gaming. That's priceless right there.
No doubt. No doubt. And man, arcade and everything. I mean, that's what makes gaming. That's what makes us man. Damn. Spooky, you better marry this girl.
Oh, that made me cry.
That's all I can say, man. You need to get your ass over here. That's just all there is. Because, oh my lord. So mean, you are a gamer after our own heart. I mean, seriously. I mean, that's what gaming is. And when you grow up that way, you have an appreciation for it that I honestly don't believe a lot of these younger gamers have. You know,
No.
we know the days where, you know, you put the disc in and either the game was good or the game wasn't, right? It either worked. Well, they didn't have a choice. It had to work.
Yeah.
You couldn't patch this thing later. So,
yeah.
So,
And you,
so
go
ahead,
If
Chris.
it didn't work, you blew on it, sir.
Okay, for real. Oh no, I am
the old
all out of
cartridge
gum.
days.
Until my brother
Oh,
learned,
she
no, wait,
just-
you can get some alcohol and then
Hey,
clean it up.
y'all missed it.
Yeah.
She just laid down some Duke Nukem and y'all missed it. I got it.
All out of gum.
Man, the alien bastards gonna pay for shooting up my ride. Another fantastic Saturn game, by the way, the port of Duke Nukem on the Saturn. So
Oh
That is-
man,
I don't.
That's
Or
another
when you let
game,
it idle
brother.
too long.
I need to get more into. I need to get into Duke more too. So
What'd you say, Peter?
yeah.
When you let it sit idle. What are you waiting for? Christmas?
I love when you go into the bathroom and you look at the mirror.
Yeah.
Damn, I look good.
Yeah. That's awesome.
What a great
Oh,
game. I mean, man, Duke does need a comeback, and I'm not talking about that Duke Nukem Forever crap. He needs a legit comeback. So, by the way, let me just very quickly. Oh, hold on. Let me see. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Maybe not. Why is that one not work? Why is that one working? And the other that
9.
one, yeah, for whatever reason. All right. The other video clip I was showing worked fine. All right, so basically, you could play audio tracks from all the Turtles games in the collection. Genesis, SNES, Arcade, NES. Yeah.
Oh no,
It's-
they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Oh
yes, they did.
Man.
So now you stream and you do a pretty regular streaming schedule. So what got you into that?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh. I'm all waiting to see who's talking next. Like,
Yeah, well, we have you
Oh.
on the line. We might as well.
Yeah. Don't worry, we'll get to
what got
spooky.
me into streaming? Okay, so I started streaming when Mixer was around. God, I'm not even going to get into that because I miss Mixer. I got into streaming when Mixer was around, and I wanted to do it for the passion of gaming, being a gamer, and sharing my love for gaming to others. That's what got me into streaming. Yeah, I got a few knuckleheads here and there back then,
Don't we all?
attention seekers, as I call them.
Oh,
But I
God,
pay no
yes.
mind to that. I'd be like, delete, block, cock block, whatever. Got rid of them. It just kept going. That's what I call it. It's an Alaskan thing. So anyway, so yeah, that's what got me into streaming is I just wanted to share with the world my hope that everybody enjoyed. Just my passion. And I'm not one of those streamers. I'm not calling out people that do this because I know people do it for the hustle, but I'm not one of those streamers that want to get paid for doing my passion. I just do it for the fun of it, for the love of it.
Yeah.
And it brings me joy to see other people get joy from, enjoying the same things together as a family, as
go.
one.
There you go.
So that's why I love doing what I do.
Nice. Oh wait, I
Hopefully
might
that
know
answers your
why.
question.
No, that does that absolutely answers the question.
He's like
Yeah.
6 on April.
That very much. And there she is. So this is
Oh, snap, you showing my stream? Oh, Lord.
Snap. Yes,
he had to look at April 1st, and then he.
Yeah.
I'm
April
enjoying
looks
Guardians
like she's
for
about to get physical to Olivia Newton-John.
Physical. I wanna get physical. No, I'm joking. No, but I'm currently streaming Guardians of the Galaxy, and I am enjoying the crap of that game. Some of the enemies within that game are annoying as hell, but you know what? It's rewarding at the same time because I get to, go to the next phase. Like the higher up you get in the game, the harder and the more annoying the enemies will be. But I'm enjoying the game so far, and don't get me started on the soundtrack. Like, oh my gosh, ugh.
Yeah,
I just love it.
Has to have one of the better soundtracks, I reckon, too, of recent times of a game.
Mm-hmm. Have
So
you guys played Guardians yet, or beat it already?
I haven't yet.
I have not.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell Jago.
He's like,
but I do want to. I love Guardians of the Galaxy, so yeah, I will definitely jump on it at some point.
Yeah, I haven't.
The voice acting is on point, by the way. Go ahead, whoever was going to talk
I've
next.
heard nothing but I've heard nothing. No. I've heard nothing but good about it. So it's not, it's not for any other reason than it's just not enough hours in a day. That's honestly why But I also wanted to bring this up too, so that people can see your schedule. So here's the good news: you're on Monday and Tuesday nights, and since you are on the West Coast, you're getting started just around the time we're trying to wrap up. So we're not intersecting too badly. Probably about a half hour overlap, and then we can come in and say hi and stuff. And I have to do a better job of that. I definitely, I got to do a better job of coming in at least saying hello, even if I'm heading up to bed. So I will get better at that, I promise. But Monday nights I can come in and pop in for a little bit. So, and for those of you around the world, this is what this is the schedule.
Around the world. No, I'm joking. But yeah, that's
Trinity. DJC and chat wants to know: will you be streaming Pac-Man at some point?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with your guys' messages. I do not have Pac-Man.
Sorry.
Okay, so just FYI, I'm one of those people that's working on my backlog. I don't buy like every single game that's out for pre-order. I don't have a flow like that. I wish I did, but I don't. But I'm grateful that I have enough games to get me by until the games that are delayed come out, and the games that are already out are, the games are not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. So again, that's why I'm working on my backlog, and I am happy. I
do that too. I go back and forth to the new. And then I've been on the Assassin's Creed kick. So I finished Valhalla. I'm on Origins right now. Also, so yeah.
I need to get in Assassin's Creed more, by the way. The last one I played was the side scroller, China. I haven't even beaten that one, but I haven't played every Assassin's Creed game. I'm not gonna lie, but I love that world, and I love the different assassins that they, it's very diverse. Assassin's Creed is very diverse, and I just love when it could be anybody. It could be someone black, white, Indian, Mexican, whatever. I just love how diverse the game is. So, in the different worlds.
Yeah.
The new one sounds like it'll be interesting, where it's going to be set.
Oh, yeah.
Babe, where's it going to be set at again? I forgot.
Baghdad.
Baghdad.
Ah, Baghdad, yeah.
Or as we like to say before it got really weird over there, Persia.
That's right. Yeah.
Persia.
Right.
It's Persia. It's from Persia. All I can think of is no,
I was a prince.
He
died on a million different stakes that come out of the ground. If you do.
Well, there's that. There's Prince of Persia. No, I was thinking Eddie Murphy in Trading Places.
Ah, yes.
When he's having a big party in his at the house, and they're spilling stuff on the they're spilling stuff all over the place, and he's like, "You spilling stuff on my rug? It's Persian. It's from Persia."
It's Persian. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Mesopotamia. There you go, Scepter. Mesopotamia. So Boogie says he stops by your stream after this show to check out the games he plays that he's interested in. That is
Boogie is awesome, man. I appreciate him. He's one of the regulars, man.
Boogie is my Maryland brother. It is insanely funny how close we are to each other. Probably like an hour ish, and at some point him and I got to meet too, because we are in the same friggin' state. So I've met
no
Peter.
Passports required.
No passports required. So Peter I've met, Chris I'm working on meeting, and of course, you know, you guys at some point, especially if you guys come wagons east. So that'll definitely we'll have to make that happen. So.
Heck yeah.
All right, Spooky, you've been nice and patient and quiet.
Patient and quiet.
The breathtaking one.
The breathtaking one. So it's your turn, brother. So you got to let me tell my story on your channel. You now get to tell your story. And that's what we want. So, tell us about young Spooky the Gamer.
Young Spooky. All right. Well, I got started because my dad and my grandfather, which is my mum on my mum's side. They both got me in with my grandfather had a Commodore 64 that he passed down to me, and my dad passed me down his Atari 2600. So I kind of had the best of both worlds, but I kind of did lean towards the Commodore 64 because I just had a blast with a lot of the games that I can kind of remember off the top of my head. Some of them like The Last Ninja, Wasteland, Maniac Mansion. Was another California Games that we seen earlier as well. That was an awesome fun game. Marble Madness. That was another good one.
You know who made that game? You know who made Marble Madness?
I'm trying to think now. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Mark Cerny had a hand in it.
Mark Cerny, that he created that game.
I'm just trying to think of who he was working for at the time.
EA is Electronic Arts. Atari.
Was it
Atari
them?
brought out.
Was it them or was it Midway? Was it Midway?
Atari.
Midway.
So Atari actually licensed it for the arcade, but EA. And I don't know if they ended up buying it later, but by the time it got out to the PC, it was published by Atari, and then EA somehow got their hands on it because the version I had was EA.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Atari,
yeah, I had the mid. I'm pretty sure mine was the Midway version. That's why I was thinking Midway or Midway
Atari,
Western.
Atari originally put out the arcade version. So they originally published it. What a great game that was.
Yeah, Kung Fu Master was another good one on the Commodore 64. That was another good one. They had Frogger, of course, and Pac-Man, Tetris. Trying to think. Oh, the original Paperboy was another great one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Outrun, so I can remember a lot of classic games because obviously the Commodore 64 and Atari were out. Well, at least the Commodore 64 was out before I was actually born, so it was good sort of getting my hands on that and sort of seeing the kind of gaming that my grandfather was doing at the time, and I still remember the good old joystick and how he used to hook it up to his television and stuff like that. So that was some really cool memories. And the Atari, I had.
You made DJC happy. You said Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, yeah.
He said Pac-Man. He said it.
But yeah, no, even on the Atari, like I had a few games for that. Like I had Asteroids, Pitfall, River Raid, Mario Brothers. What else did I have for that? Missile Command was another one. Pole Position. I'm pretty sure I had Ms. Pac-Man on the Atari. Well, I had Pac-Man on the Commodore 64. Had the Star Wars. I think used to have the arcade thing on the front of it. I think that came out the year or two just before I was born. But that was a really classic game that my dad held on to. So yeah, they really started me, obviously before the Nintendo and Sega came into prominence on the old generation there, of course. And then moving on from there, I was more a Nintendo kid. Like I did have the Genesis. But I mainly had like sort of stuck with and played with like the NES, the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64, GameCube. I didn't have a Saturn, but I remember quite a few mates had the Sega Saturn. So I went around there and enjoyed playing on that at the time. I did end up getting the Sega Dreamcast, which I managed to still keep. I've still got that boxed up in storage. Obviously, because I knew it was going to be their last console.
Wait. Why are you keeping that thing in its cage? You need to let that thing out and play it.
Oh no, I'll get it out and play it. But it's
all right.
It's storage.
all right, man.
I just don't leave it lying around, if you know what I mean. Like once I'm finished having my play around with it, then I'll box it back up, put it away.
All right.
Because if my 4-year-old gets hold of it,
okay.
you can imagine.
Fair enough.
Right? Yeah, it's over if he gets hold of it. So no, I've got to make sure I put that out of sight, out of mind.
Fair enough.
Yes.
But no, I that was probably my favorite Sega system, like it is for a lot of people. It's still to this day the last system that really gave me that wow factor that really blew my mind once I took it out of the box and hooked it up, especially being the first that introduced having internet connectivity. That even at the time of it was good old dial-up at the time. We all remember the days of dial-up. It was still really cool and really new to look, I can play with someone over here or someone in England or wherever, and it was just really cool times that getting introduced. And obviously even though I was more obviously Nintendo growing up, so I was more Mario kid, I did actually enjoy both the Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 that came on the Dreamcast, seeing Sonic sort of transform from that side-scrolling 2D to 3D, and how well they actually pulled that off in those two games kind of amazed me. So yeah, I really enjoyed those times. As I said, came up through the N64 as well in the SNES days. So I was playing things like Super Mario and Mario Kart, GoldenEye, the original Perfect Dark, Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64. Again, probably one of my favorite Nintendo systems actually was the 64.
I'm right there with you.
SNES, yeah, it was fantastic times. And just having the weird ass. It took you a little bit to get used to it, but the weird ass controllers, like they've kind of felt like a weird sort of futuristic aeroplane, I guess you could say, in a sense. Especially if that middle part is like a kind of reminded me of like a sort of tail of the plane. But yeah, from that went up to the GameCube. Had a lot of fun with that. That was an interesting console because you could just carry it around wherever you wanted to go. So it was quite portable, I remember. But I loved one of my favorite games back on there was like Super Mario Sunshine. I remember what was it? The Legend of Zelda Wind Walker. That was another good game. The original Luigi's Mansion back then as well. F-Zero GX. So the GameCube I had a lot of fun times with. And then with PlayStation, I really with PlayStation, probably my best eras for them was the PS1 and the PS2. And the thing I loved that PlayStation kind of really introduced with those two eras was, hey, we've got a console and we've got every genre imaginable covered. You want fighters, we got fighters. You want RPG, we got RPG. You want shooter, we got shooter. You want platformers, we got platformers. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, you know, and they were just really pumping out the games. You know, Gran Turismo was huge, you know, compared to what it is now. Huge back then. You know, Final Fantasy, the Metal Gear Solid series. It was just a fantastic time, I believe, for PlayStation. They were kind of, when they came in, sort of took the market, I guess you could say, and was sort of on top of the world there for a little while with those two eras. And then came the PS3, obviously, and we know how weird of a machine that was to develop for.
Oh yes,
with the cell processor and stuff like that. So that was
the second job you had to have.
Yeah. So there, of course, I went. Obviously, it was sort of just a natural progression. Then from the Dreamcast, once that sort of came and gone, to move to the OG Xbox, obviously. And of course, that introduced me to things like, you know, Halo, with Halo Combat Evolved. Black. I loved the game Black, if you remember that shooter from back then.
Yep.
What else? GTA San Andreas. Knights of the Old Republic. You know, just great times. And then obviously from there to just again natural progression to the Xbox 360 as well, which was again another a fantastic time. Probably because I don't usually like to comment on the current gen, because obviously it's still going on in that sense, to compare it to something that's from the past. But from my point of view, for me anyway, I think that was Xbox best generation they've had so far, is the Xbox 360 gen, even with the red rings of death. I myself, I was lucky not to have an issue with my 360, but I remember a friend constantly having issues, and instead of sending it off and forking out to obviously get it fixed, he actually came up with probably one of the most interesting temporary solutions that kept working, and it worked every single time. And so it would save me like unhooking mine, bringing mine around for him, so he had a working 360. So he used to get his 360 and he would get a really thick towel and he would wrap it in the towel.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
And then he would put it in the oven, and I don't know.
In the oven?
You know, in the oven,
oven.
Right?
Jesus.
In the oven. So he's cooking. I was sitting there, you know, baking 360s here. But obviously, he'd obviously done his research. Someone had told him, you know, what to do, what temperature to put it on, and how long to leave it in there. But anyway, before it went into this oven, the thing was, of course, you know, red ring, dead, you know, not happening. He brings it out of the oven, and this damn thing turns on. And what we'd worked out was that the obviously the heat from the temperature in the oven had soldered the part that kept coming loose that was causing it back onto the board itself. So I was like, oh, okay, that's all right. But yeah, obviously you'd have to wrap it in. You wouldn't want to just put it straight in the bloody oven, otherwise you're gonna melt everything, you know, be it on those metal grates and stuff like that. But no, that was such fun times. I mean, that was back when, like, you know, you had your college football. That was, you know, obviously they had the license and everything at the time, so that was another huge thing. And Call of Duty, I remember just being like massive thing back in the 360 days. It was like the it game, I suppose you could say, that everyone was sort of jumping online to play. Of course, you had Halo 3 as well, which is another fantastic game. But yeah, then I went on to well, before I went on to the PS4 and that, I'll just talk on. I remember the arcades. Arcades were amazing. And I'd go from arcades here, and then when I'd go and spend time back in New York with my dad, I would go to arcades over there also. So, you know, I was experiencing things like Daytona USA, Sega Rally, Street Fighter. They had, I remember Terminator was there. They had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Which one was it? Not the Turtles in Time. It was one of the New York ones they had at the arcade at the time.
Manhattan?
Manhattan Project, yeah. It was Manhattan Project. And what else do you have there? Time Cop was another good one. House of the Dead. Just... It was so cool because then you also had like things like... I remember a few arcades that I went to. They'd have like games that you'd probably otherwise see kind of at like a carnival or something like that. So you'd have like you shoot the basketball through the hoop, you know, and you'd get tickets, air hockey,
T-ball,
whack-a-mole and things like that. But for me,
T-ball was mine.
Yeah, for me, it was more like the excitement because it gave you that totally different feeling than a home console, being at home, where it was usually quiet. So you went in there was all this sound, you know, kids sort of laughing and giggling and going off and just having a good time. So it was a completely different environment. I remember I kind of compare it to the first time I walked into an arcade. I had the same feeling that was the first time I ever walked into a humongous Toys R Us, when Toys R Us was a big, big thing. I was like a kid in a candy store. It's just, it's going insane.
Yes.
And probably one of my funniest stories about, it's really funny, Game Boys and arcade, right, is the fact that I owned most Game Boys, but I never technically I never once paid for them apart from probably a couple of dollars that I'd put into the claw machine. All right. So you had a whole variety of claw machines, and most people, of course, had played the normal ones that were just full of like, big stuffed toys and stuff like that. Me, I always got drawn to this one that was filled with Game Boys, which was filled with like other type of things at the time, like CD, like Walkman type things and other kinds of stuff like that. And for some reason, it wouldn't matter which arcade I would go to that would have this sort of claw machine, because there was a few that would. I was very lucky every time that I would win a Game Boy.
That is.
Oh, yeah, you told me this story.
I struck a luck. Now, this one time, I remember it was my younger brother at the time. I took him, and he was turning 9 at the time. So I took him, and we went there, and we went on everything, of course. And then we're just about to leave, and I said, "Look, let's put our last $10 that we got on us here. We'll put it in this claw machine, see what we can do." And not only did I win one Game Boy, I won 2 bloody Game Boys. So I won one for him, and that was his birthday present. I won one for myself. So I was like, "Oh, you beauty," like that was too good. I just couldn't get over my luck on those types of machines. I had better luck on those claw machines than I ever did on the ones just trying to get a stuffed toy. I think it was just the way, because obviously the things were in their box, right? So it just seemed to be able to pick up if you got it, on the right spot, hovered over the right area, it would pick up the box. I thought it was gripping the box a lot better than it was trying to grip onto a lot of those stuffed toys, So Yeah, no, that was really, really fun times.
Mhm.
And of course, I didn't get the Xbox One. I got it right sort of towards the end of the generation. I got the One X, obviously, then. But at the start of the generation, just because I kind of didn't like where old Donny Matz was going with the whole TV thing. I got the whole thing. I was like, I got it in the sense of, hey, that's cool. You got this one device that you can game on, and you can have your TV, and you can do this with this Connect camera thing, like this, all this thing. Oh, I thought that was cool, but obviously the messaging, as we all remember, was more focused, more on pushing all the other stuff instead of the gaming. So I went with PlayStation initially at the time of the generation, and was enjoying a lot of the, they started putting their focus in cinematic type story games with The Last of Us and things like that. Even with the 2018 God of War, and I love God of War all the way back to when it was originally just a hack and slash game, and so I had a good time there in the PS4 generation, and then now here we are, obviously, with these new beasts that are basically, mini PCs, I guess you could call them, with the parts that are in them.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I've been enjoying the Series X, obviously, since it came out, and I've really sort of started getting back in, because I was for a long time, a PC gamer as well as a console gamer. I'd play a lot of like the Command and Conquers and stuff like that, Half-Lives and games like that on the PC. I wouldn't play on the console. And so I just recently, my recent thing I've done is I've both signed up to the Steam and the Epic stores. I just got a few games that you possibly see me post on Twitter last night, because I haven't been able to get my hands on a PlayStation 5, and I knew there was PC copies, so I got the Spider-Man remastered, Sifu, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, and that Stray, and I started playing Stray on the PC last night, which was kind of a interesting concept, roaming around as a putty tat. Even in the cyberpunk world, and like just kind of, because I haven't got towards the end yet. Obviously, I'm probably about only a quarter way through it. But like just roaming this cyberpunk world, and doing it as a cat, and kind of how you sort of have to go about things, it's kind of a bit of a different take in a game. I kind of thought was interesting. You're going around purring a lot, I know that, because I'm constantly I'm using one of the Xbox controllers. I'm pressing B a lot to purr. You have to purr.
Press B to purr.
Yeah. So basically,
it's like press A to horse.
Yeah. Basically, you get a sense of what it feels like, I guess, to be a stray cat, like,
a kitty.
The way they've even done it with when you interact with the other cats, when you come in, you purr, you how they sort of come up and rub alongside each other and do a little circle, and you sort of lay down and go to sleep, and even the way they have sort of done the mechanics for how it jumps and walks and wanders the city. It's really good what they've managed to achieve. So I was having a bit of fun with that last night, actually. But that's basically we're going through the generations there. As I said, I pretty much had every console outside the Sega Saturn and PS3.
And it's hard to get into the Saturn now because it's so expensive. So that's
no, I've got a friend and I've got a few cousins that managed to keep theirs.
Nice.
And they're still working. So I still got access in that show. I haven't actually got it myself, but I've got people that I've got access to be able to play some games on the old Saturn. I remember the Sega Saturn. One of the biggest things I knew, well, sports titles that really took off on the Sega Saturn, because I just remember every man and his dog was playing it, was FIFA. That seemed to really take off on the Saturn, from there, you know, and it was really big.
And that was before EA dropped Sega support.
Yes.
I remember that. Oh. Man, talk about all right, so Trinity, you need to marry this man.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that. I love that. He goes, "Did you sniff old cat's butt, Spooky?"
Now says I'd rather play as a dog.
But yeah, he's also not wrong too. That was half the reason, you know, I play RTS games on the PC is because they are best played on. Well, I find they're best played on PC anyway. For me, anyway. Yeah. But I'd love to see a new Command and Conquer, because that's probably be one of my favorites. You know, I played all the original, the Red Alerts.
Red Alert.
Tiberian Sun was probably one of my favorites.
Mine too.
Absolute gem of a game. But they were fantastic games. They were absolutely fantastic games. And I used to just get lost in them. I used to get as lost in those games and other RTSs as what I had friends get lost in, you know, the World of Warcraft. You know, they would just get sucked into that world and stuff like that. Well, I didn't mind WoW myself, but I just knew people that would play WoW religiously. You know, they'd go, basically, they get up, they go to work, they come home from work, and they'd sit down with their dinner and they'd be playing WoW for the rest of the evening.
And
yeah, Tiberian Sun, that one was one of my favorite too. What got me on that was the remember the ships? They look a little bit kind of flying saucer, but they shot the little green balls.
Yes, yeah.
And I used to love that. Like you build a bunch of them, you just come and you just see all those green balls going down, just tearing up the other town or whatever.
Oh man, that were the best.
I just love that part. Yeah.
Good old Westwood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Westwood. Yeah.
Didn't Westwood? Let me see. Hold on. Let me make sure I remember this correctly. If it's the same Westwood.
Did they end up getting
sort of just dismantled on they just
amalgamate? Yeah, sort of sucked them in. Yeah.
If it's the same Westwood Studios, I remember one of my Command and Conquer was always big, but the other game the other two games that Westwood did that were phenomenal, Eye of the Beholder and Legend of Carandia. So I don't know if you remember Legend of Carandia, but so back in the PC days, of course, the big kids on the block were Ken and Roberta Williams, right? King's Quest, Space Quest, Police Quest. Legend of Carandia was a game along those lines by Westwood. They wanted to cash in on the popularity of the Quest series. So they made that game.
I remember the Eye of the Beholder now. That was the real-time role-playing game, if I remember that.
It was an RPG.
Based on Dungeons and Dragons license, wasn't it?
I don't know if it had the license, but it was an SSI game. Do you remember Strategic Simulations?
Yes. Yeah.
So and you know what? I just looked it up, and you are correct. It is an official Advanced Dungeons and Dragons computer product.
Oh, so, there you go. I had this feeling on the top of my head that I could remember that it was. I knew it was. I was vaguely sure that it was based on the Dungeons and Dragons license. Yeah.
And this was back in the day when PCs were, you know, your first sound card. You don't even think about sound cards these days, But
No,
like
no.
my first sound card was an ad lib. And right, before you got your first Sound Blaster, right? Creative Lab Sound Blaster, I had the ad lib. And those games were awesome with that. Yeah, it was a 3D dungeon type game. Isn't it awesome? Man, I got younger just listening to you. Oh. So now you also stream, and you have your show you brought back, the Backlog Bastards. Tell us a little bit about that and how that came about.
Yeah, well, obviously I started when I first started podcasting. I started with my one-on-ones, which I still do, which is the Breathtaking Gamer Spotlight, which you yourself have been on, Myke. We're that one for me, sort of straight off the bat. I kind of looked around the scene and I was like, oh, there's not a lot that, or too many that do a sort of like a community spotlight where you pick someone from the community. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a content creator either, just someone from the community. Because of the way I do it, and sort of get into, not only their gaming history, but, their background and where they sort of grew up and how they grew up and stuff like that. Because I like hearing people's stories and people's histories. I find it always very fascinating, interesting, because with each different person, even with their gaming history, everybody's got a different tale to tell. So I find it absolutely fascinating. So that's what initially got me started on with that particular podcast. And then as a little bit of time went on, and especially during this recovery from what happened to me at the start of the year, I started thinking about putting together a panel podcast. And so I was talked to a few fellas, and that I knew were kind of sort of freed up, I guess you could say, had some time on their hands, weren't doing 1,001 podcasts like the good old Pong Soul.
Right.
Yeah.
God bless Pong.
So yeah, always love the brother.
He's got the record. Him and Dreadpool still hold the record for longest NLG show. We might beat that tonight. we haven't even gotten to the topic yet. We haven't even gotten to the first topic yet.
Oh no. But yeah, so I got together, and now, well, obviously there's myself, Mr. Bushido, who's a bit older than myself. Then Charlie Hustle is a very knowledgeable guy, and as you were aware, Myke, he was when I had you on for the one-on-one, he was absolutely loving your stories because he's big retro gamer. So it's good to sort of have that type of voice on the pod. And
no doubt,
we've also got our lad from jolly old England, Animated Evil.
Yes.
Who brings his British suave and pommy humour to the podcast, and with the Backlog Bastards, but basically we sort of, three of us anyway, me, Bushido and Charlie, kind of sort of were throwing around names, and that was one that kind of we threw against the wall and it stuck. I said, hey, that has a nice ring to it, and it kind of a bit cheeky, which kind of fits our personalities, yeah, we with our style of podcast, we kind of make it like we'll talk about the obviously the weekly news and stuff like that. But we do it with a bit of bringing our comedy and antics and banter, and so we kind of make it as lighthearted as possible. And like the boys like to say, it doesn't feel like a podcast; just feels like we've got a round of beers and we're at a bar and we're just chopping it up and sharing our thoughts while having fun and a bunch of laughs. So it's a really relaxed setting, and I just enjoy the hell out of it. You know, if you manage, as you boys would be well, you know, well enough to know yourselves, you get the right mixture of fellas. That's what it ends up really coming down to at the core of it, and what it is for me is just getting there. Well, every Wednesday now evening, so tomorrow evening. Getting together with them and just having a great, you know, few hours together, basically catching up for the week and talking games, which is what we enjoy doing. And apart from that, we all enjoy giving people a laugh. And you know, as we're all well aware, and as I like to say, you know, and that's another reason why I do, you know, my little music videos, singing along, my little sing-alongs every now and then. It gives people something different that when you get on to YouTube or even Twitter there, and you're sifting through half the BS you sift through, as we all know. Because as good as this community is, we all know also, like anything, there's good and bad and everything. So, you know, you got the toxic side too. So it's just good to see something. Oh, you know, I'm sick of seeing this bullshit, but hey, what's spooky in the game? Oh, this is nice and lighthearted, and they're having a laugh. And by the end of the show, if people walk away with a smile on their face or walk away giggling to the point that they're nearly pissing their pants, well, then we're doing our job, and that's the enjoyment I get out of it. Is just being with the fellas each and every week, and you know, interacting with the chat and just meeting new people and talking with people, and yeah, I love entertaining people, giving people a smile, a laugh. You know, it makes me happy. It makes me feel warm inside.
And again, you guys are the type of gamers that, you know, people like us, I know people like me, want to be around. You know, this is you guys are the ones that I want in my circle of gaming family. So
right.
You know, I you know, just saying, I might have to talk to the fellow crew. We might have to take the Gamers United Guild International here. Because you know,
put a little international flavor on it.
Yeah, we don't have any overseas shows, so might have to bring some flair in from across the pond, or in your case across the entire ocean, across the Pacific.
Yeah. With Animation's case, across the pond.
That's true.
Across the pond.
So, all right. So, because it's almost 11:30 and we haven't talked about anything that we were supposed to talk about tonight. But before we actually move into the topic at hand, I've got to know, how did you two meet? How did we get to the point to where you guys are engaged and working towards? I mean, you're getting this man to just about 90-day fiance you. So how are we doing this? How did this happen? How did this come about? How did you guys meet, and how did this? I gotta know.
I'll give you the floor initially.
Okay, I'll go first. Oh.
She's lost the word.
I'm waiting for him to cut me off. I'm waiting for it.
I'll mute. Don't worry, I'll mute him if he does. Okay.
No. Okay, I'll give my version. Then Spooks will give his. So Spooky and I have been friends first, of course, on Twitter for what do you say, 6 years, babe?
Yeah, 6-7 years. Maybe getting another
7 years, right? Another 7. Okay. So long story short, because I'm not going to go into a novel version of it. As you know, Spooky would post things here and there about, you know, what's going on in life or whatever. And so one day, I was scrolling through my feed, you know, getting caught up, seeing how everybody was doing, you know, and I seen that he posted a video about something personal, and my direct response was, oh no, I'm gonna make sure he has a good day today. So I DM'd him. Because before I get into that, I've noticed he was like off and on Twitter, and I was like, that's unusual. Like, haven't seen him like in a minute, like on Twitter, and he would pop up, here and there. Anyway, so he was having a bad day or whatever. So I said, oh no, I'm gonna make sure he has a good day today. So I DM him. He tells me what's going on, and something X related I'm not getting into. So he tells me what's going on, and we were going back and forth for hours. I'm encouraging him, and he's asking me questions on what he should do. And long story short, we started dating after that. I was involved with someone at the time, but it didn't work out. So before Spooky and I got together, I broke it off with Homeboy, who I was dating for like 6 years, long distance. It didn't work out. So I had to give myself time to breathe after that breakup. Of course, I didn't rush because I'm not a rusher. I don't like rushing into something else when I have to take time for myself first, right? That's the right way to do it. Mm-hmm. So I took a break. Spooky basically confessed his love for me. Like after we talked stuff out, and I was like, I didn't know you felt that way. Are you serious? And so he said what he said, and I was like, damn, he is serious. Like, I'm gonna need some more gum. No, but no, seriously. He opened my eyes to a whole bunch of things that I was even dealing with at the time before I broke it off with my ex and stuff. And it just started developing from there. And I started digging him more and more and more, but he was the one that was kind of like, hey, if I was your man. I was like, oh, damn. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm still in the relationship, right? And he's very respectful. Really respectful, and he wasn't the type to like pry, he was just, but I'm just saying, if I was your man, this is what I would be doing. I'm like, good God. I'm like, okay. So it wasn't nothing like, ooh la la, but it was more like swept you off your feet type of thing.
Spooky, there's no way in hell you're gonna beat this story. No way in hell you're gonna beat this story.
So I started falling for him more and more and more, and I'm like, good Lord, he's the real deal. I started feeling things I haven't felt before with anybody else, and again, the rest is history. So from my side, that's what happened. So Spooky, take it away, love. Tell them your version.
Tell the real story. No.
What she said. No. No, basically, it's pretty much how it happened. We're just talking for ages at gaming, and basically, like she said, we both initially with other people at the time, but things weren't going right with either person, and sort of helped each other, I guess you could say, through that as friends, and it got to a point where I was like, oh, I could see myself with this girl, so we started dating and that, and eventually over some more time it led to another, and I was like, hey, you need to get this shit on lockdown. So, and you just kind of, when you just kind of know. But for starters, one big thing for this in this case was it was the first female that I'd been with that was a gamer. So I was like, hey, this works in my favor for a change, like, because the perception of a lot of people that aren't gamers, and so I had been with a couple of women that were sort of like that, oh, what are you, playing that kids thing? It's like, oh my God, I just want to relax after work, this is how I relax. So so that was good. I kind of felt that was like something instant before we figured out like just how much more we actually did have in common. A good basis, straight off the bat. And we just hit it off. Yeah.
So
Nice.
she set this up, but Boogie Brother Boogie is saying out loud what we're all thinking. This if I was your man, we how did that?
Yeah, turn on the Barry White voice, you know.
My first, my last, everything.
Oh yeah, I would like to add, by the way, before
It's revealed.
no, this is no, but he proposed in December before the accident that he went through, unfortunately. So that's when we got engaged, was in December of last year. So it was over Skype when we were talking. It was so unexpected too. Caught me off guard. I was like, oh, that's a good one. Wait, you serious? He's like, I was like, I was literally shaking like this, like shaking. I don't know if he remembers, but I was like shaking, and I was like, no, seriously, you joking, right? Because I would say yes. He's like, no, I'm serious. What? And he asked me again. I said, oh shit. I said, this motherfucker's serious. I said, oh shit. I was like, excuse my language, by the way, just in case you don't allow cussing. But I'm being real. That was my response. Like, oh, but damn, like. And I said, hell yeah.
This is the greatest story we've ever had on this show. I'm just telling you right now. We have Peter, Chris, we've had a lot of people tell us a lot of stories. This, to me, is the greatest story we've had on the show. As bar none.
I love what Boogie. I was gonna say I love what Boogie said in the chat. He goes, it went from if I was your man to I'ma be your man.
Oh my Lord. So the plan still is, because I remember you've talked about this with me, Spooky. The plan is still for you to get back over here, because you live in Australia now, but you've was it you grown up here, or you moved here and then moved back?
I was born in Brooklyn, and it was not long after I'd just turned 4 years old that my mum and my dad split, and she obviously, came back here and took me with her, and so I basically grew up here.
Okay.
And I went back, she'd send me back every now and then, like Christmas time and stuff like that. But then when I was like late teens, and a lot of the way through my 20s, I stayed with my dad and went and lived with my dad, and so I was over in New York then there for a while, and then came back. It's interesting. When I came back, it was 18 months after I come back. That's when I lost him, and it was actually quite interesting, because when I was making the decision, I kind of felt a bit torn, because the two men that were most influential on my life helped me become who I am today, who got me into gaming, of course. I had one on one side of the world and one on the other side of the world, and that they had their two separate different lives. And so I came back because I do, my grandfather being older, I just thought, kind of think more logically, okay, I know his health's pretty bad, so, if I go back, I stay there long enough for him, and then once he passes, I can come back and be with Dad, It didn't pan out that way for me, unfortunately, because then the pandemic hit during when I did lose my dad, so I couldn't even get back there. Couldn't get back there for his funeral, unfortunately.
I'm sorry.
But I was here. Yeah, it sucks, man. I lost him at the start of the year. This is a couple of years ago now. And at the end of the year, literally 2 days before Christmas, is when we lost my mum's dad, my grandfather. So all in the same year. and it was hard. It was really, really hard. It's still. I mean, it's gotten easy, and we're only about 2.5 years on now from that. I like to say never. It gets easier, but it also doesn't get easier, especially if they're very inspiring and influential to you. And yeah, I always sit back all the time and reflect on just memories of getting introduced to gaming from them too, and gaming with them as generations came along too. That were my father and my grandfather respectively, but I'd have to say they were my two best friends as well. We talked about everything, but we could talk games, like especially those two. They could.
Wow.
They'd played games since the start of gaming. As long as Pong, Pong says he started all the way back on Pong. So, so it was just great, just talking with them all the time. And unfortunately now I don't have them to talk that history with, I guess you could say.
But I mean, that's something that you can pass on to your kids,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's like my grandfather, I got I started off with Pong also, and we had a Pong control and a TV because my grandfather, he passed it down to us. And then, I don't know, a couple years later, he had bought an Atari 2600, he passed it down to us. Those are things that he was interested in gaming. He'd buy it, try it, hey, it's cool, and then he'd just pass it to us. And then after that, my dad noticed that me and my brother were into gaming, so he would support that. Christmas. Yeah. Christmas was the big one where we got the NES for Christmas, and then when NES Super NES came out, we got that for Christmas.
Nice.
And so he supported that, and now he didn't care for gaming himself. He always thought it was just like whatever. But we would have game nights, family nights, where we play Monopoly.
Right. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
And we all gather around the TV instead of the board game.
Yes.
He would play that stuff with us, But
Priceless.
then like life happens, and my dad was one of my best friends. Love talking to him all the time on the phone, and I miss all that. So I understand, and same thing with Myke. His dad not too long ago. It's not easy.
No, it
never will be. Right? But you will always remember the good things.
Exactly.
And and then you got your kids to pass that on to you.
Yeah, that's it.
And no doubt. You always find those things that it's interesting. You tend to find those things that. My dad was not a gamer, so my mother played games. Her claim to fame was we had a ColecoVision, which was a great system. Oh my gosh, some of the best arcade experiences back in that day. One of my mother's favorite games was Ladybug, and I remember she flipped the machine. She flipped the game. And we sent, and I swear to God, I've never done it. She did it. We took the picture and sent it to Coleco. Wow. I mean, so my mother was a better gamer than I was. So, but the thing that I always hold on to with my dad was, he taught me all the practical stuff. How to do stuff in the house, how to change outlets in the wall and stuff like that. And my oldest son had just finished his Eagle project, which was building a shed for our synagogue. And I mean, this shed is no joke. It's a 10 by 16. He basically built a mini house out of straight up raw lumber that we cut and hammered. And I mean, he led the project. Scouts and adults built it, but his job as an Eagle Scout was to kind of lead the project, not to do it all himself. But through that process, I thought about my dad a lot, because that's like, that stuff was like right in my dad's wheelhouse. And I just remember, we had a bunch of adults up on the roof putting shingling on this thing, and we had these kind of pneumatic gun nails that we got donated from a roofer, which we couldn't use. We had to go get roofing nails, and we had people up there hammering. And all I could think of was my father would be the guy who would look at this and say, all right, so what do we need for this? And we're like, well, we need a roofing nail gun. Great, let's go. And we'd go to Home Depot, and he'd be picking up a roofing nail gun. And I'd be like, well, we'd only use it once. And he said, well, it's the one time when we really need it. So that's, my grandson needs a roofing nail gun. And therefore, so that's the kind of stuff my dad would do. We would build projects, and I mean, him and I spent a lot of time in hardware store. So whenever I do things like that, whenever my son does things like that, I think about him a lot. So I could totally, I know Chris too, we can totally relate to what you're saying,
Yeah. I mean, it was, I mean, it still was cool, like, in the sense that, I'll look back, I think, because I have run into people where they've had a similar situation to me, that their parents had split when they were really young, but they never got to know their dad. Usually, in most cases, it would be that the child would end up going with the mum, especially a lot of the time. Even here in America, back in those days, it was just a thing, like a major thing back in those days, that if the parents split, 9 times out of 10, you'd end up with your mum. So I was fortunate that even though we were kind of worlds apart, each year, as I said, growing up, even from the age of 4 when I was out here, I would get to go over there at Christmas time, because that was when the Australian schooling would have their big 6 weeks off. So then I'd go over there for 6 weeks each year. And then when I could finally, obviously I was out of the nest, so to speak, and it could make my own decisions, and that's when I decided to go back, and I was glad I did. And I spent a good 9-10 years with Dad in New York before coming back. And so it was great, because I got to get to know all his side of the family, which are all over there, spread out, from New York all the way over to Texas. So, I remember a trip that we took, and we went down to San Antonio and Corpus Christi and Dallas, Houston area, met family and that.
My neck of woods right there.
Yeah. Got to meet, a big portion that being out here, I could feel that I was missing. So, and he even showed, where I was for the first 4 years of my life, where I was born, what apartment I was growing up in before, obviously, him and Mum split and that. So I got to learn a lot from my old man, even in that case, which is still great memories to hold on to. And that's why, New York's forever, in my heart, not just because that's where I was born, but that's where I know his spirit is. You know what I mean? Anytime, I go there, I could just instantly feel him, because that's where he was born, that's where he was raised, that's where he didn't really leave. He'd go on holidays, of course, here, there, and everywhere, but he loved coming back home, so good times.
That's definitely, man, it's
I'll tell you what, though, bring it back to a good note. So definitely look forward to when you and Trinity finally tie the knot in the same place. Sure. We're all rooting for that. We're all waiting for that day. So could you see that all around you? People that meet online, me and my wife, we met online.
Right.
And then just started talking, and then once we met up, I mean, that was it. I already knew she was one. So you guys have already figured that out before, right? You have not met in person, right?
No.
Yeah. So yeah, we're rooting for y'all. We can't wait till y'all that time comes. So.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Get married close enough to where I'm at. I know a good band.
Keep that in mind.
All right, so it is 10 of 12 here on the East Coast, and we haven't talked of. In fact,
we got soundtrack.
I went ahead and just dropped the Halo discussion for tonight. We're just gonna have to pick that one up another night. So I thank you both. I now get a reprieve from getting yelled at. So thank you both. So, and I tell you what, man, it's I do want to talk about Activision and Microsoft and the CMA, but before we move to that, guys, I just want you to know that I have not I've enjoyed listening to your guys' stories so much. It harkens back to to us as our young gamer, our young journeys as well, and they're so aligned with this. It's just been so good. I mean, Spooky, for everything you said about when I was on with you, I return that in spades. This was just hearing this has been so awesome and has made me feel very young tonight. So you guys rock.
Glad to take you down some memory lane there. Mind you, I could have gone on and on about all the games, that I cherished over the years from every system too. But
that's gonna be for another night. That's definitely gonna be for another night. So this is not gonna be the last time you two are here. That's for sure. So, and maybe one day, be in the same room, and that with you guys in the same room. Not maybe. I mean, you guys are going to be, but next time, maybe next time you guys are on, it's you guys in the same room together. That's gonna be wonderful. So.
Oh, that'll be special, most definitely.
Yes.
Even more special. Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah.
So, Peter, take us.
And next topic.
Only topic.
Our only topic.
Peter's like,
what? News from PlayStation? What the heck?
Are you guys done?
Oh, shit, what happened? Hang on, what happened?
Which one are we on?
Okay, hang on.
Gamers.
Well, it's, what? Technically, it's kind of news from PlayStation, to be quite honest. So, all right. All right, here we go. See, I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah, ready?
The way Mike schedules it might just be. All right, let me bring up what we know. All right, so we don't like to be these people. We talk about this all the time. We don't like to be these guys, but Sony is not giving us much room to maneuver here to not just outright wonder what the hell. Now I say that with a caveat. They've had a lot of screwy things going on in the last few weeks. So there's the price hike on the PS5 in other other countries. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but a few of our friends, like Brother Ainsley from Season Gaming, spent $100 or $110 on the Firefly edition of The Last of Us remaster or remake, and the box came in beat up condition, and Sony's doing nothing about it. And then
he's not alone.
He's not alone. So there's other things going on that I don't necessarily blame them for, but just seem to be revolving around Sony. So, have any of you heard of the Competition and Markets Authority before yesterday or before Friday, whatever the hell this came out? September 1. This came out. This broke on Thursday. Before Thursday, any of you guys, Peter, Chris, Trinity, Spooky, have any of you heard of the Competition and Markets Authority? I didn't.
No.
This is new to me.
Yeah. So
it's been made up, hasn't it? Overnight.
Right. Actually,
I know, right?
Yes. Actually, it's a fake group created by Sean Layden. I
thought it was. So
on the heels of Brazil and the fun that surrounded people complaining to the Brazilian government about Microsoft's plan to buy Activision, the Competition and Markets Authority in the UK has said that it is worried that the $69 billion deal for Activision could hurt rivals by restricting access to Activision Blizzard games and would stifle competition in the emerging cloud market, and gave Microsoft and Activision until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 today or tomorrow to come up with proposals to address its concerns, or it would escalate its investigation. So this is first off, I don't even know who these people are and what investigation they are going to affect. It's not like they can stop this deal from happening.
You know what I do know what they're trying to use though. I've been keeping an eye on this news story. And the last lot of thing I heard and was reading was that they were going with, because Phil came out and answered back, right? I think he's done it twice, he's done it plenty of times, but twice in the last week, maybe 2 weeks, where he's been emphatic that they're going beyond borders of any other sort of deal like this that's been done before. They're sort of going above and beyond any deal that's done before, where he's turned around and said, even after any existing deal, we're happy to keep some of these games, mainly at the talking topics being Call of Duty, obviously, on PlayStation, even past any deal that's currently in place that Sony has, which would probably be more of a marketing deal because they've had marketing rights. And even after these statements, they've come back at, we don't believe you. And the reason why they don't believe him and Microsoft is because they keep circling back and said, we seen what you did with the Bethesda deal. You came out, they used their funny, words for a while there before they could definitively really say anything. And so they're bringing up, well, you've made Starfield exclusive to your, to Xbox, not necessarily the console because of the way Microsoft's approach is, you playing it on a Samsung TV, on your iPad, on the computer, wherever you can access the cloud and the Game Pass. So they're thinking that, are you just saying what needs to be said? Are you saying all the right things like you did the last time with the big deal? And then it's going to come out that, obviously once deals have been honoured, that you're just going to take it away. Like, they'll think that's what they're trying to run with. That's the notion of they keep bringing up the Bethesda deal and how they went with that. So that's what's got them worried that there could come a time that they may turn around and say Call of Duty is now exclusive to the Xbox platform, eco-structure. I'll call it. Yeah.
Right, and so Peter, Chris, Trinity, my first question is, so what? This is what I don't understand. It is one.
I mean,
thing,
what is it? We have to look at it through the consumer's lens, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they should protect, right? So what
Right.
does it hamper the consumer?
It doesn't.
And it doesn't. That's the thing.
Because you can simply just go get an Xbox or go get Game Pass with xCloud
Or
to
a
play the
PC.
games. Or a PC. You can. It doesn't hamper anything. It hampers.
No.
It hampers competition in. So the reason I ask, so what, is number one. To my knowledge, Microsoft is not walking in there and trying to do a hostile takeover of Activision. The Competitions and Markets Authority is basically telling Activision, who initiated this whole process as we found out, Activision wants Microsoft to buy them. So the Competition and Markets Authority is going to make Microsoft conform to their rules, or Activision is not going to be allowed to be bought. That makes, first off, that, how in the hell is that even a thing? Number two, who cares if Call of Duty went to the Xbox? We know it's not going to, because Phil said it best. Microsoft doesn't want to do that because they don't want to cut that revenue stream off. They make a lot of money. They'll make a ton of money from PlayStation gamers on Call of Duty. They're not going to do that. Yeah. They're not stupid. Will they?
They're going to treat it the same way they treat Minecraft.
Exactly. Yeah. And the same with World of Warcraft. They're not pulling World of Warcraft from anywhere.
No.
Yeah, and it's not just making money off the sales of the game, but it's more about the microtransaction and all that's going on.
Right.
So why, like you said, why would they cut that off? And Phil's even come out and even wrote a personal letter to Jim Ryan saying that they will honor the current contract and beyond those years.
Exactly.
And of course, at some point, it'll come down to, well, let's talk business if you want to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. It all depends where that's at. You never know.
And see, I think Phil could maybe, even though like how he said it, he could word it a bit differently just to quieten down. It's the media that keeps hyping it all up, and as I said, circle in the background. Oh, we've seen what you did with Bethesda and that, and turn around and say, look, like things like Call of Duty and everything that have been known as multi-plat, we're going to keep multi-plat because we can make things exclusive, for example, that are either completely new IPs. So if they get any of these teams under Activision Blizzard making something completely new, right, that's not been on anything else before, they'd probably look at some of that going exclusive, obviously, to draw people into their platform, as well as if they decide, for example, let Toys of Bob, hey, let's get you off of Call of Duty, helping out and being a helping hand, and let's have you bring back Banjo-Kazooie, right? And they could use that as an exclusive, man. But they're not gonna, as you said, they're not gonna make Call of Duty exclusive. They're not gonna do it with World of Warcraft. They're likely not gonna do it with Overwatch and things like that. And they don't need to, because there's other things, or as I said, new IP that they could go, okay, we can do this. The Bethesda thing that they keep bringing up is completely different in my eyes, in a lot of senses. One thing being is, that even fit more like a glove than what this does, because Bethesda and Microsoft have been kind of arm in arm, I guess you could say, for years. And Bethesda started on PC. So, that kind of just made sense that they were going to kind of utilize that to, build their first party up, obviously. Whereas Activision Blizzard's a little bit different, because their games have consistently, for many, many years, being able to be accessed in a lot of places.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but again, so you know, here's going to be sort of an interesting take I want you guys to comment on. This is how I kind of started to see this. I don't blame Sony for throwing up, you know, the challenge flag. I mean, let's be honest. It's business. They're protecting their business. I'd expect nothing less. But I find that this seems to be a little bit of an admission by Sony. Remember what Sony's argument has been is that Call of Duty is its own game, its own genre.
Yeah.
We can't live without Call of Duty. Now,
Well, they have nothing themselves that can compete with it or something along those lines.
But here's and that is an odd thing for them to admit, considering that they've got arguably, in my opinion, an equally strong IP that I know I, as a PlayStation gamer, have been asking for the better part of a decade now. And that's
are we talking about SOCOM?
We are talking about the return of SOCOM.
Yes.
SOCOM was the first wartime online game that I ever played. It was on PS2. I remember it is the first time I had, you know, before I had played Call of Duty, I played SOCOM. And, you know, for Sony to basically admit that they need Call of Duty to survive, to compete. I mean, let's be real. There's a reason that Microsoft purchased Bethesda. There's a reason Microsoft is purchasing Activision. They are admitting, and it's perfectly okay to do this, they're admitting that their first-party studios have been lacking. So they're bolstering them with Bethesda. They're going to bolster them big time with Activision.
And I was just going to say, apart from that, because of the way they're building up Game Pass as this Netflix type thing in the gaming sector, obviously, they have to constantly feed it, like Netflix has to feed its platform. So, you know, they knew from when they started, what they start with, was it like 6 studios or something initially, that they were going to need a heck of a lot more than just 6 studios or something like that to be able to cater for their vision of Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? That is what you do, you know, when you hang on. Dredd said, "Who deleted my last comment?" We didn't delete your last comment. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
I don't see anything deleted.
Yeah. And then the one before that, I would do anything for ABK, but I won't do that. I got the Meatloaf reference.
The other thing I find funny about this, fellas, is that Sony, well, PlayStation brand is the market leader. So this also shows a little bit. Are you scared that you've got some competition finally? Like Microsoft's finally, you know, pulled their big boy pants on and have come to the party. You know, especially because of, you know, how they kind of fumbled before Phil took charge, obviously last generation and that. But, you know, are they a bit worried about that? And the second question I've got is, now, if we flip this hypothetically for a moment, and this was Sony in this position, would all this be carrying on? Or would have already been passed and a done deal already by now?
Well, that's a good question. What do you guys think?
Well, you know, it's still the first round of looking at it, right? But just the way they phrase it and put it out on Twitter, it seems pretty pathetic.
Mm-hmm. That with all the emojis and whatnot, like a. I said a millennial. Somebody said a Gen Zer. I got like a Gen Zer wrote it.
Like, well, and just to think that they're worried, even in the sense, because I think it has come out and been proven. Even So say the deal goes through, even acquiring Activision Blizzard and the teams underneath, that still only puts them in third position. They're still behind Sony and Nintendo. So it's not like it creates a monopoly or anything like that. So there's no worry there.
Well, and why has nobody said a word about Embracer Group and Tencent? I mean, these guys, Embracer Group is going around buying half the world. And let's be, you know,
well, and Tencent, they
Tencent
invest.
just-
They get like
Ubisoft.
49% of the Ubisoft thing.
Right. So now, they are this close to owning Ubisoft. So
yeah, and they just got a 30% stake, them and Sony in From Software as well.
Right. Nobody's talking about how Embracer Group has been buying up everything. I mean, think about it. You want to talk about stifling? You want to talk about stifling competition? They now own Tomb Raider, and if anybody, I mean, they could very easily go, "Hey, you guys want Tomb Raider? You got to pay up." I mean, they control those purse strings.
Exactly.
I don't. It. No one said Sony couldn't put in a bid for Activision. If you
no, exactly.
If you.
That's why I'm saying, like, especially because of how the media is when it comes towards like how they'll speak about these two companies. Obviously, you can hear it with most media that if this was Sony making the deal, everybody be for it, it'd be praised, and no one would be saying nothing, and that's what I find funny, considering if it was Sony in the position to acquire them, well, they're already the market leader. So then you'd say even more so, well, does this hurt competition because the market leader has just made this deal? This isn't the market leader buying this company. This is a company that's, as a lot of people, and you hear it a lot, Microsoft's in last place, and this doesn't even bring them up to the top, as I said. So it's like, what are you scared of? Are you scared that Microsoft's now a player? That's the way I look at it. Are they scared that Microsoft's taken gaming seriously and they're now a player again like they were in the 360? They're actual, you could say they're actual competition. Because last generation, they would have looked at Microsoft and just kept laughing all the generation. We all know it. This generation, and since Phil's been in charge and the new staff, Sarah Bond and that, they've turned the Xbox brand into what it is now. You're starting to see that shift. I do think that's what it can be a little bit on Sony's front. I think they're a little bit scared of some good competition, and that's what I think it is. Microsoft's good competition again for them.
It is not that with a deal that Sony can't compete. I mean, that you don't.
It's ridiculous to even think that, though, isn't it? Because you're like, how do you say that the market leader can't compete? They're the market leader, are they not? Like, that's where they should be laughing when it comes to Sony. Is they're like, when it comes to gaming, make it obvious that you're the market leader. Well, you're definitely well ahead of Xbox. You definitely have more people in the world that have got PlayStations and Xboxes. So I don't know what they're worried about. I really don't, because it's not going to affect them. They're trained that the PlayStation train's going to keep on going. They've just got they're going to make a killing off of having Bungie. And even though Bungie's not exclusive, obviously, but they're still going to make money off of anything that they do with Destiny or further Destiny or whatever else that they may do. So it's not like, I think they're just a little scared that they've got competition this generation, and I just don't think they like. See, I don't think they've been worried just like Microsoft, and Phil said it. I don't think they're worried about Nintendo, because Nintendo just does their own thing in their own lane. Microsoft is really their sort of main competitor, and because they kind of had the foot on the throat last generation, they're kind of feeling, oh, no, this is not good because now they're out from underneath our feet. Now they've got their gloves on. Now they're fighting. Now this is turning into a 15-round fight, and I don't know if they like it. I really don't think they like it.
Buying to keep Final Fantasy off the Xbox isn't hurting them isn't hurting Microsoft anymore.
No.
But Nintendo is proving this is to your point. Nintendo is proving they can succeed with the Switch without even having Call of Duty. Like, no one plays the Switch. No one has a Switch for Call of Duty. They don't need it. If Sony was smart, and this is where I get that they're protecting their business. And again, I don't necessarily blame them for going, hey, you know what? Let's take a shot at it. It's the right thing for them to do for their business. But
why is the ECM crying about that? What if Sony becomes third? You know, out of the console manufacturers. I mean, right? It's still healthy competition. I mean, that's what it is.
Right.
Exactly. That's your competitors. I mean,
but but Nintendo's outselling both of them, and they didn't acquire Activision and Call of Duty, and they're not trying to do none of that. They've done it on their own.
No.
This is Xbox coming into their own, what they should have done a long time ago.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, they pretty much were the lead on Call of Duty with the marketing rights and all that during 360 days.
Yeah.
And among a lot of other games that they threw money at the studios and publishers, said, we want these on Xbox. We want some exclusive deals, marketing rights. But Microsoft didn't go full in on bringing them into the first party.
No.
And then, of course, that hurt them going into the last gen. And Sony took advantage of that.
Oh, yeah.
Because Sony, their last few gens, they were building up their first party. So, I mean, it's just Xbox is just now coming into their own. It's not like Activision kind of fell in their lap, right? Because what was going on with Activision, they were destroying themselves from within because of all the controversy going on, what was going on.
I like the way you said that.
And so on. And so, honestly, after the way Xbox handled Bethesda and ZeniMax, Bethesda, and all those guys, those studios are happy how that transitioned.
Yeah.
What was it? Double Fine, right?
Yep.
Was it? He was kind of against Microsoft
for a long time,
day, right? And
for a long time.
Here he is. He agreed to it, and because he liked what he saw, he liked what he heard, and what Phil was proposing and putting together. And so Activision and their studios, their investors, I think they wanted to go the route kind of what Xbox was doing with Microsoft. Sony's more than capable. They had been competing, trying to kind of take out Xbox like they did Sega and Nintendo, where, back in the day, they were competing with Nintendo and Sega, as far as third-party deals and all that stuff. And Sony was aggressive, and they were able to, bully their way to the top. Nintendo did that to Sega too, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, but now, after what happened this last gen and everything, and Phil doing the 180, they woke up the giant, which is Microsoft, and they finally taken Xbox seriously. And now they've brought them into the fold, and they're at the big table. And Sony, they're going to keep, because Xbox needed that to compete. And like y'all said, they're not even the market leader as far as console.
No, exactly.
But and Sony is worried because now Xbox has been able to move beyond the console and establish cloud gaming, PC, working with Steam, day and date, Game Pass, where that's gone. And Sony, they know they're going to lose Call of Duty marketing. They're going to lose. Some people are going to like, you know what? I want to go play it on Xbox. I want to go play it on Game Pass. Have custom consoles, like they used to back in 360.
What's the difference? It used to be when you walk into, Best Buy, GameStop, whatever, you see Call of Duty and you see PlayStation logos plastered all over the place.
All last gen.
People go in there, what do they think? Like, hey, is it on Nintendo? Is it on Xbox? No.
Yep.
They see PlayStation. So, what's the difference then? At that point, who owns it too? It's like, If now Xbox, now it says Xbox on it or Microsoft or something.
Yeah. But Sony has so many other things. They have an advantage with the Japanese studios, like we're seeing with Square Enix, Capcom, and others that they've been able to, only on PlayStation for a long time. They had exclusive stuff with they were aggressive with Bungie and Star Wars and Call of Duty. And that's what helped them out. All those third-party deals. So.
Remember the Bungie deal for Destiny that Sony had?
Oh, yeah.
Microsoft couldn't even put out a playful ad. Like people thought that Destiny was a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, even with Red Dead Redemption 2, the way that marketing was done on the way the box were out to where it seemed like it was exclusive on PlayStation. I don't see this is not going to hurt Sony. It's not going to hurt PlayStation. It will set them back as far as they will lose that. The Call of Duty marketing and the
that's
tension.
the biggest one.
It is.
That is.
It is right now.
But
that is
anything like microtransactions and other stuff,
Oh, yeah.
that will be the same thing. They make there whatever it is, 30% or 18, whatever it is.
Yeah, but the game is still going to be on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But they have other things that they've done to bring more attention to PlayStation.
But
with all these other deals they have.
Are we getting Spider-Man all on Xbox and Nintendo and other stuff?
Nope.
Would that be
Wolverine
anti-competitive because
Wolverine
you can't have
right?
those at all? National, international hero, Spider-Man. Go on.
Right. And think about it. The reason that I want to emphasize, I don't specifically blame Sony for doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it does make them look, in my opinion, it makes them look weak in that you would think that Sony's position would be, you know what? They could have Call of Duty. We've got Spider-Man. We got Wolverine. We got God of War. We got, bang, bang, bang. Look at all these titles we got. They let them have Call of Duty because PlayStation gamers are going to buy a PlayStation because we got these games. Oh, and by the way, SOCOM's coming back. That's how you. So I agree 100%. This does not stop. Microsoft could take Call of Duty completely Xbox exclusive, and Sony would be all right.
Oh yeah, easy.
They would be all right, but the Call of Duty makes more money than all those games you just said put together.
It does, which is probably the other reason.
About. Bottom line is the money that they're going to lose out.
But think about it. If you think about it, every Call of Duty sold from that point on, even on a PlayStation platform, Sony's got to pay Microsoft.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other thing that I would be more upset about that. I would almost I would almost pull Call of Duty from PlayStation on the grounds that, you know what, we already have to pay them every time someone buys Minecraft on the PlayStation or Minecraft Dungeons. I don't want to have to pay them for Call of Duty too. I mean, that's you almost think that Sony would go, let them have it. Let them have it. We don't need it. Because then they make some money on it, but they're not going to get PlayStation sales out of it because the marketing's with Microsoft. Microsoft also, as part of the Activision deal, bought MLG because MLG is owned by Activision Blizzard. So now they've got a built-in tournament. We talked about this, a built-in esports setup, and they just, is it worth paying every time? They're basically funding Microsoft to make more games for the Xbox platform. They're funding Microsoft so Microsoft can turn around and make exclusive games. I mean, Microsoft wins no matter what if this goes through. So why is this such a big deal that it has to be stopped? And if Activision goes back, let's say this deal doesn't go through, right? Then what happens if Activision just decides, all right, well, all we've got left was Call of Duty and Overwatch, and the government's coming after us, and the state of California is coming after us. Screw it, we're folding.
Mm-hmm.
And Activision decides to close up shop.
They can sell all their IPs.
They could.
Right? They
Yes,
can sell everything to Microsoft, and they're like, hey, look, there's a whole pool of employees. All right, just create new studios for them. Bam, done.
Yeah, we'll call it
Yeah,
Blacktivision.
So that is an option.
Blacktivision Izzard.
Yeah.
But I just say that, and you're right, Sony has every right to try to put a stop to this.
I mean, they just throw mud, right, and see what sticks. But what about the ECM or whatever it's called? You know,
the CMA.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't understand what they could do, because I have read that that they have stopped some of these before. How?
Bragged about other stuff, but they're a non-ministerial government department,
right?
But I guess they have some influence, like social influence, to where they can convince, I guess, the governments to change their mind on some of these things. Because it's not just this deal; they have other things that they look at too, and they seem to have some influence on it.
It just doesn't. I can't figure it out. And again, Microsoft was very clear that to them, they don't want Call of Duty on one platform. That's why they didn't pull Minecraft, because they knew that if they pulled Minecraft from mobile and PlayStation and Nintendo, the amount of money they would lose. So Phil is. I don't agree with everything Phil's ever done with the platform. Shout out to Connect, but he's not.
You had to bring that up, eh?
I'm sorry, but he's not stupid, and he knows that Call of Duty makes a ton of money, and is not going to pull it from PlayStation to spite anything, because he knows he's making cash on it. What he's going to do is he's going to. What I expect that he will do is the next Crash Bandicoot will be Xbox exclusive. Maybe the next Tony Hawk. Maybe they bring back. Peter, we talked about the fact that they own
Sierra.
So maybe the next King's Quest. Maybe they bring back Roger Wilco and Space Quest, and maybe that is a Game Pass episodic exclusive platform. Maybe they bring back Pitfall. It's been a while since there's been a Pitfall game, and the last good Pitfall game was on my Sega CD. We're due.
Or make a deal with
the Mayan Adventure.
Make a Pitfall game and
okay, for
they
real.
could license it.
And then it'd be both on the Amico and Xbox.
They could license that out to Amico. I mean, there's a lot of things that I expect them to do, but I never expected Call of Duty to be. What I expected was, which is the other thing that Sony's been, and this is what they complained to Brazil about, they don't want Call of Duty on Game Pass because that's a death knell. And Microsoft knows that. They know they'll sell Xboxes based on that.
But what can Sony do to remedy that? By making their games day of date.
Yes.
They could. Yeah. I mean.
And their subscriptions would grow. You guys, if I have even said, I would buy a subscription service if their games were day of date. Now, I do like that one tier where there's a lot of games that I have not played, from last gen to that, it keep me busy for a while. So.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
So Trin, where are you on all this? I know we've all kind of, all kind of flared up on this. And you've been kind of quiet.
Oh, no, I'm just listening. I'm just taking it all in because I'm always working and always miss out on information. So I'm just being real. So it's nice to get caught up with everything. Everything basically like Spooky said, I agree with, because I don't want to sound like a parrot, but there just needs to be a step up somewhere. There just needs to be a step up on Sony, and something needs to happen. There needs to be some changes, for real, with how things are going overall. That's all I can say at the moment. My mind is foggy.
We are at 12:30.
No, but
the thing is, like, Sony cannot always rely on Microsoft missteps.
I like that. That is a great.
Basically.
So
they just need to step up, grow some balls. Like, there's no such thing as a perfect company. Everybody needs to grow somewhere, and they're still growing. Like us humans, they're still growing. Both companies still needs to work on things. It shouldn't be one-sided. There's no such thing as a perfect company or a perfect console. They're still growing. There's still room to grow. So all we are doing is waiting on when these things are going to happen, basically. And we can't just stay silent on these things. We got to let them know this is what needs to happen, or we're going to stop buying your stuff.
And also, Sony just acquired that company that makes mobile games, right?
Yeah.
They want to go into mobile space.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the other behemoth in the Activision Blizzard thing is King.
Mm-hmm.
Candy Crush.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Huge.
So what are they going to do? Pull that off mobile?
They're aiming for, aren't they? The mobile market. So, what better way to get in there with a big bob like that? King's one of the biggest.
And that's why everybody's getting there. And see, Microsoft was smart to get cloud working in that arena. So
yes,
right.
Yes. And I've been saying for the longest time, and I've had many discussions with people like Pong and Mav about this, that once we can see Microsoft's vision, and gaming's definitely heading that way. And once the whole world is on par internet-wise, that vision's really going to take off. And that cloud gaming is going to be something huge. Once most of the world, it'd probably have to be up at least 80% of the world is got decent running internet to take that on to its full, capacity.
Well, and it is when it comes to Game Pass. I mean, everybody's admitted nobody's touching Game Pass right now. Nobody.
I mean, Sony could compete in that.
They could.
I mean, the
But
thing
it's-
is their storage, and depending what you say, Game Pass, because I always think Ultimate Game Pass, and then you have like xCloud as well. But if we just have talk about a rental service, I mean, they already have that, right? Their PSN Plus, whatever they call Platinum, whatever those 3 different
Something like
tiers.
that.
So I mean, they have that.
Yeah.
So
a snap of the finger, and Sony could compete immediately. They
have technology for cloud streaming.
Mm-hmm. And I don't buy that excuse, by the way, that, well, you know, their single player games aren't really conducive to. Well, then why do you have them in there in the first place?
Why did they buy Bungie? For service games, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
But the idea that
they're, you can't say like, hey, that's not fair because I haven't caught up yet, but I'm working on it. I mean,
right. So you have to handicap them until I can catch up.
Yeah. I mean, that's not what competition is about.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you imagine if they had Bungie, we want you to do SOCOM for your next take over that?
Well, maybe they are in the services part that they might have a hand in that.
Yeah.
Right.
Or whatever. Yeah.
It's possible
any
Call
other
of Duty
studio
will
do it.
die in like 5 years because of SOCOM. You don't know.
Yeah, anything happen, or Destiny end up taking over.
Yeah. Well, but Destiny is already there and established. I don't know if
It is, but you
how
know,
much bigger it will get. But I mean, if you get,
Yeah.
To me, Destiny is not really a Call of Duty.
No.
SOCOM will be
it's-
more Call of Duty
No.
than
Exactly.
Destiny will be.
Yeah.
And that's where Sony needs to okay.
And here's another
Bat-
thing:
Battlefield
Sony has all the movie studios and other stuff tie-ins and
Yeah,
other technologies they have. I mean, is Microsoft crying about that? Maybe
Yeah.
they are. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Microsoft needs to buy Netflix. Then.
In silence. No.
Or the whole Warner Brothers shenanigans. Like, bam,
Hmm.
done.
Mm.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That will be next. Once this deal's done, it's like, bam.
Yeah,
I have a
that's
random
who I'm
question,
keeping in
guys.
mind. The next acquisition is the Warner Brothers. there.
Or if somebody puts a stop to this one.
If people put a stop to this one, Microsoft go ballistic. I will buy a whole bunch of stuff.
They'll buy Sony.
They'll buy
Well,
10
CMA
cents.
won't allow
Like,
that.
bam. And all of a sudden you have-
I think this is more about the long-standing desire to cut Microsoft at its knees. I mean, this is the other thing that people forget that aren't our age, our collective age here on the panel. I remember the government continuing to go after Microsoft as a monopoly, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that's why they had to decouple Internet Explorer from being totally built into Windows that you couldn't uninstall because Netscape complained. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's happened to Microsoft for years and actually decades. So this is nothing new for them, and it's why I find it funny. I do think I still think that it's going to take a lot to drop this deal. But I think once Activision is done, I think with Activision, Blizzard, and Bethesda, I don't know if Microsoft tempts fate and tries for another big Warner Brothers type. I don't know if they do. Maybe they buy some IPs. Maybe they buy Nether, like they did what Embracer did with Square, where they bought all the Western stuff and bought Tomb Raider and all that stuff. Maybe they buy Nethersoft, and maybe they buy,
They will buy Embracer.
Oh my God. No.
What
They
if
have
what if
cats-
Embracer bought like what's the Tomb Raider, Dev?
Crystal Dynamics.
Crystal Dynamics. What if Crystal
yeah.
Dynamics was just parked at Embracer till Microsoft has his ABK done?
So they go ahead and buy Crystal Dynamics from Embracer.
Crystal Dynamics and all the IP and stuff. Probably not. But.
I was gonna say that would kind of be the only reason I would say that would be kind of a long shot is because why would Embracer have bought it then, unless they were just looking to flip it like a house?
Because Microsoft is kind of in a bind. Till this deal goes through. Wouldn't that be something?
So, Embracer owns Crystal Dynamics, right?
Correct. And
But
Eidos.
before, dang it, I have brain fart. The other studio, the other publisher that got rid of them, was publishing their stuff.
Square Enix.
Obviously, right? Square Enix.
Right.
So who would publish Crystal Dynamics stuff going forward? I guess that's something
Embracer.
they would just. Embracer is also they publish. I thought they were just an investment.
Well, I guess they would. So they would probably shift it over to. I wouldn't be surprised if they shifted it over.
Or different,
No, well, they've got internal developments. They've got internal publishers. They could publish it under Deep Silver. They could publish it under
that's right,
THQ Nordic because they own THQ Nordic.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I see. I got you.
Yeah, there's a number. There's a number of publishers that they could use internally.
Yeah. And now Crystal Dynamics is working with Initiative.
Microsoft.
Perfect Dark.
Yep.
Right.
So-
That's why
That's why I thought
My
it was.
whole- parking, parking
And
Embracer.
maybe Xbox was looking at that later on, like, all right, well, let's get past this Activision deal. But now Embracer owns them, so. But I don't see it. I think the deal's going to go through. And like Boogie, I think Boogie said that if it goes to court, they'd probably end up winning the court anyways.
What I think is that
They got the lawyers, they got the money,
Yeah.
so.
I think one of the concessions is Microsoft promises to publish, Call of Duty on PlayStation for the next 5 years, something like that, in writing.
Yeah.
I think that will be the.
But he's already given
I
them
know.
a written letter to commit to that, right?
I know, but then
Well,
like,
but that's
what
a
more
letter
does
to
it-
Jim.
file
A letter.
the
to-
letter officially at the.
Yeah, the letter with Jim Ryan just simply said he would honor their current and his intention is to keep it on PlayStation. I think to Peter's point, what the CMA would look for is an actual contract that says that will be for X amount of years. They can't do it. They can't do it forever. Like there's no way that they can force Microsoft to do this in like perpetuity, right? So it would have to be a defined number of years where they say, okay, they have it through, 2028, right? And you know what else Microsoft could do because remember, if they really wanted to be dicks, Microsoft could simply just stop making Call of Duty. Just shift the the development studios to something else.
We're gonna
That'll be
take a
it.
break.
Snap the
Yeah.
finger.
Right.
We want y'all to make some new IPs. Okay.
Right. We're gonna make this new IP called Doll of Cootie, and it's going to be, a third-person shooter. Could you imagine? All right, so not that I don't love the Coalition, but could you imagine like either Sledgehammer or Infinity Ward helping Coalition work on the next Gears?
What about helping him out with
That would be
Halo
interesting.
Infinite?
That would be interesting, I think.
Peter?
What about helping 343?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, well, that's not on topic, sir.
Hold
Come on
on,
now.
Treyarch. I would take
That's not on
Treyarch helping out with, maybe Treyarch
Easy
could bring
now, easy.
maybe Treyarch could bring that split screen
my.
co-op.
Careful
back
what
in.
you wish for.
Getting wild.
Yeah, we don't want to. It's already 12:42. I purposely took Halo Infinite off the board. So, De said Hogue Law believes that there will definitely be a consent decree, which of course is a it's kind of a bloodletting a little bit, right? It's we'll give you this to make this go away. I consider a consent decree to be a bribe.
Yeah.
So we shall see where this goes. But I mean, so down the line here, starting with Spooky and down the line, do you think this actually stops this deal from going through, Spooky?
No, I think it just holds the process up. Because obviously, while before this obviously was holding it up, it by all accounts, and even from what Phil was saying, I was myself thinking it was going to be finalised and finished by Christmas at least. But now I'm thinking it's definitely going to carry on into early part of next year before it's finalised. But I don't think it stuffs the deal up at all.
Okay, Peter.
Who's next? Me? Peter?
Peter.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think that's this deal will go through.
Chris?
Yeah, it'll go through.
Gren?
Before fiscal year, their Microsoft's fiscal year 23.
Yeah.
Nay.
You don't think it goes through?
I don't know. It's kind of a wait and see approach for me.
Okay. So what? All right. So we have our dissenting opinion here. I love it. What are you seeing? So what are you seeing that puts the stop on this? And be give it to us straight.
Wait a minute. So again, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
The question is, do you think that this act by the CMA to rattle the cage here, do you think this stops the deal from going through? Do you think they will stop the deal from going through?
Oh, I heard wrong. I'm sorry. I think it'll stop it. Yeah. I'm sorry. I heard wrong because there's in and out stuff happening on my end because of my situation.
So you still think that this can stop this deal from going through?
Say that one more time.
All right. So you still think that this is a deal? So what's going on right now will stop the Activision Blizzard acquisition? Or do you think the acquisition will still go through?
I'm gonna go with it going through.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with it going through. I'm gonna stick with that. Now that that's clear.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Sorry about that, because you guys were cutting in and out, so that's all cleared up now.
Got it. Dreadpool says, pick B. Pick B.
Ay,
All
ay.
right. So Peter said fiscal year 2023. Remind me, their fiscal year is what?
July 1st.
All right. Wow, that's when
So
all
by
their
then.
other. So by the time all their other games come out too. See that they'll have dazzled everybody with so many games that are coming out between January and June that people will forget, and the deal will just go through.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good discussion, and an hour's worth. Not bad at all.
6 hours later.
6 hours later. We have hit 3 hours and 15 minutes. Dread and Pong still have the record at 4 hours. So unfortunately, even though Spooky is in daytime right now and Trinity is 3 hours behind, I can't do this to my boys. I can't. We have to work in the morning. I can't.
Oh, don't worry. I'll jump off like I did that last time. With
That's true. That's true.
See ya.
All of a sudden, where'd Chris go? But man, who let Art Big fall in here? See, there's a reason. There's a reason we didn't hire that bum. See, don't you let Art fool you, Chris. Don't you say hi to him. He's just trying to butter you up to get a job. So DJC, take care of Art. The flamingos and General Meow can stay. All right, there you go. Get out of here, Art. All right. So, oh my goodness. All right, guys and lady, what a show! What a great show, man. This was
Did you tell him if the deal would go through or not?
Oh, me? Oh, I forgot about me. See, I don't. That's why I like to go last, because I talk enough. I would be shocked. Look, it would shake my confidence in the system if this stopped the deal. I mean, it's bullshit. The fact that this is even going on is laughable to me, right? Because, I mean, you said it, but actually everybody has made such great points. Peter, you said it earlier. This doesn't, if you're looking out for the consumer, this doesn't hurt the consumer. This hurts, this potentially hurts Sony. And it's...
If Sony doesn't want to compete, it hurts Sony.
Right. This is bad optics. I don't blame Sony for doing it, but this is bad optics for them. And it's bad optics to allow a government agency, non-ministerial or not, to basically advocate for them. So, and right, Dreadpool brings up a great point. How come nobody stopped Disney? Think about what Disney has bought in the last...
Yeah.
Right? They own Star Wars. They own Marvel. They now own 20th Century Fox. So that 20th Century Fox had Spider-Man. Well, now Disney has Spider-Man. Right? So, I don't want to hear about what
They own your soul.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, that's what it feels like.
And by the way, didn't Disney pull all their crap off of Netflix? Is nothing of Disney on Prime, on Amazon Prime? So
Where was CMA back then?
Right, exactly. Where was the CMA? Where is where are all these government? So thank you, Dread. That is a fantastic point. So, but again, I think this makes Sony look weak. I think this makes the CMA that I've never heard of before until September 1. I think that makes them look weak. I think that makes the entire process laughable. And for those reasons,
I mean, they
those
should not have
reasons-
tweeted about it. Sure, they can look at it, but just that the tweet and the follow up on that, it was just like, even the documentation, when that was public, it looks like such a crapshoot, such an amateuristic piece of junk. It's like that doesn't hold up in any court.
It was such a it was such a juvenile opening tweet.
Well, yeah, but also like I don't know if you've I watched the Hoke Law YouTube about this video about this thing where he would actually go through the document and stuff, and it's so laughable. It's like a bunch of clowns wrote it, I don't know. That was just
it
bizarre.
really.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is that again? It is almost like they're not advocating for the customer.
No, they probably just bought a PS5 and are like, oh my god, I got no Call of Duty this Christmas. That kind of stuff.
An intern that wrote it.
That's what it sounds like, and it's like just dumb.
I haven't. It's dumb. It's at its face, it's dumb, and it looks like they're. It really does look like they're advocating for another company, and it's just a bad look. It's just an absolute bad look.
Yeah.
Oh.
And if Sony feels that way that they absolutely can't compete, they should just sell it. Sell it to Tencent, Amazon, Apple.
Get out of the business.
Get out of the business if you don't want to compete.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. Look at this. What 22-year-old intern wrote this tweet?
The pony.
With the little look, they even used a PlayStation controller. If you look at it,
I didn't even realize that.
Well, I know it is. I know, but I mean, if you look at it though, is it not?
But also that document and stuff, and then we were talking about the Wii and the it's like that's yeah.
Together with Sony and Nintendo, they've led the games consoles market for the past 20 years. They haven't led.
Just ask Sega. Sega. Yeah. What happened?
Yeah.
That's
what
Xbox is right now. That's Sega. That's
right. And who are future entrants? Are you serious? This is the one that pisses me off the most. Amigo, that's right. This is literally stopping. It's not anything else. It's not the pandemic. It's not supply chain. It's not anything else. Microsoft buying Activision is why the Amico isn't coming out. Yeah. But I mean, in all seriousness, including recent and future entrants into the gaming industry. What crystal ball do you have that
hey kids, stay off math. That's don't do drugs. Just say no.
By refusing or hindering access to Activision Blizzard games.
So some theoretical pretend fantasy company might not be able to enter the gaming industry because it won't have access to Call of Duty. Are you
what
kidding
if
me?
Activision says like, okay, we stay standalone, but we're still not gonna, sell. We're no longer gonna make PlayStation games.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be
we'll do
nuts?
Switch. We'll do a Switch cloud game.
Right. You guys wanted to. You're right. Right, because you know what? If this deal doesn't go through, you know who gets hurt? The shareholders of Activision. And somebody and Bobby Kotick will be out for blood. That would be insane if they just go, you know what? Fine. Call of Duty is now a Xbox exclusive because that's what we want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They could do that.
Mhm.
They could. Oh.
Actually, they could put it on Game Pass right now
Nice.
already. Maybe they
Big
should.
Block, to be honest,
That-
Word Perfect is still around. So
That it definitely doesn't paint Sony in a good light anyway. Like from a competition, you know, being
But-
scared
but
of competition, you know.
right, but this is so they're looking in the future with their magic crystal balls that, you know, this could hurt some new entrant into the gaming. And how can you possibly say that?
This is worse than hearsay.
Exactly.
It is. This is fantasy.
Yeah.
This is absolute fantasy.
I mean, Microsoft cut in a console space
Yeah.
with the original
Right.
Xbox. I mean,
Right. If any proposals are
And
not
Nico
made
is
or not
coming.
sufficient, we'll explore this deal in more depth to reach a decision that works for UK gamers and businesses. Guess what? You know who hasn't bitched about this? Nintendo. Or
Yeah.
any other third-party
I was
company.
about to say that.
You know who else hasn't complained about
Mhm.
this? Google.
Mhm.
Amazon. They don't care about this. You know who hasn't complained? Epic.
Apple. Or Apple.
Or Apple.
Or Steam.
Dude, do
There
you
you
know
go.
do you know how much money hand over fist Epic Games makes on Fortnite? And that's a free to play game. Do you think they care if
Yep.
Call of Duty is in Game Pass and Xbox exclusive? Of course
They don't
not.
give a damn.
So what UK businesses are they going to reach a decision that works for? One business, Sony. And that's what I have a problem with. That's why I hate that we have to be like this, because I know it makes us sound like we're Sony hating. You know, Sony has had some serious own goals in the last month. So I get that this looks like we're piling on, but this is not our doing. We don't work for the Competition and Markets Authority. And
No.
Sony could very simply say, "Hey guys, don't worry about this. We stand on the backs of our own products." And then, could you imagine how good Sony would actually look saying that? Hey guys, we understand this is business. Microsoft has to do what they have to do to bolster their internal studios. We believe in the power of our internal studios. We are not,
And
know,
our
we are-
IPs.
and our IPs, and we have no intentions of standing in the way of Microsoft's business. That's all they have to say, and they would look like frickin' beasts. I mean, seriously, the entire PlayStation community would be like, "See, they don't need Call of Duty. Sony doesn't need Call of Duty. They got God of War. They got, Horizon. They've got SOCOM.
Ghost of
They've got
Tsushima.
all these. Ghost of Tsushima. They got the greatest
Yeah.
games." And
So on and so forth.
they would sell more PlayStations to their base by coming out and saying, "We don't need Call of Duty. Our games speak for themselves." Dude, that's a statement
Exactly.
of that's a statement of
That would be a
power.
statement of confidence right there.
Exactly.
And then, I mean,
Instead-
look at how much money turning foot that they would be making off every iteration of The Last of Us. I'm talking of the original Last of Us. Since the PS3 days, they have been making money turnover foot with that game, and they're about to again. So
Think about that.
then they'll make an absolute shit ton of money. We all know off of the new God of War. That's a huge franchise for them. Now they'll make plenty of money off of that. Then they'll bring out Spider-Man 2. That'll make money again. Wolverine, once it hits, that'll make money. So they have got plenty of games over there that they really have nothing to complain about bringing in money, raking in the money. And these are franchises and games that are currently, as well as Call of Duty's, sells. The last few Call of Duties have not been really up to scratch compared to prior Call of Duties either. So it's kind of in a, as well as it sells, it's kind of, as a franchise, in a bit of a down state at the moment. You know, it needs some refreshing. It needs, you know, something to change it around a little bit, you know. So those other games, in that sense, have got that advantage at the moment on Call of Duty. Call of Duty kind of needs to build itself back up again, because it's probably definitely not as good as it once was. Like, not as good as the 360 days, you know, and the popularity it had even back then. I think that was probably the popularity of its height back then, to be quite fair.
Right.
So they don't really have anything to worry about with when it pertains to Call of Duty at the moment, until Call of Duty, you know, gets back to obviously a standard with people that are big Call of Duty fans. Because I've heard the biggest Call of Duty fans, you know, not like the last couple that have come out. So it's got a ways to do to sort of make its way back to prominence, I guess you could say, in the way that it once was.
Right. And this is, you know, I love this. And then it's 1 o'clock, so I know we've gone long, but the more this starts to get even worse as you read through this. The CMA has also received evidence about the potential impact of combining Activision Blizzard with Microsoft's broader ecosystem. Microsoft already has a leading gaming console. No, they don't. Yes, they've sold more than other Xboxes, but who's the market leader again?
Nintendo.
Sony? Nintendo. They don't have a leading game console. They've got a competing game console, a leading cloud platform, and the leading PC operating system. But by the way, why is this?
Even the PC operating system, what does it have to do with
that?
That doesn't have anything to do with the ABK situation.
Right. And they built this cloud platform. They didn't buy into this cloud platform. They worked hard and spent tons of money and R&D and to build that platform. It's not Microsoft's fault that Sony hasn't built, Nintendo hasn't built a cloud platform to match them. That's not Microsoft's fault. So all of a sudden, all these things could be used to leverage Blizzard's games to damage competition. How is that Microsoft's concern? Microsoft has to, this is what annoys me. Microsoft has to look out for Sony and Nintendo.
Now all of a sudden it's charity?
Right. Thank you. That is put perfectly. They have to consider, you know, we might not want to buy Activision Blizzard because, you know, Sony might not be able to compete with us anymore. What?
Yeah.
What's that? Can't do that.
I would fire Phil Spencer if he came into my office and said that.
Right.
I'd be like,
it would be laughable, wouldn't it?
I would bring in DragonHeartYOBY to fire him.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be over.
So Phil Spencer canceled the Kinect.
Man.
Now he cancels PlayStation. There you have it.
You have it. See? That's...
That's like
there's Yobi. He's fired.
In his best Vince McMahon voice. But seriously, this makes me how is this an okay thing? Maybe this is just a UK thing. Maybe that's what it is, and I'm just missing the boat. Like, because I can't for the life of me imagine that this is a real thing in the real world. I'm sorry, Chevy, you can't build that technology and make a better product than Ford because, well, you know, you might damage Ford's ability to compete with you if you make a better product than them.
Easy now.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here with this nonsense. So, I don't know. To harm rivals. That's the whole point of competition.
Well, competition's meant to push you, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Look what happened last generation. We just take Nintendo out of the equation. I think that's what the train of thought here for Sony. Oh, but we squashed them down. We almost put them out of business. We coasted along. We came in the PS5 with momentum, and we thought it was just going to be easy pickings again. We didn't think we thought we were going to slap Microsoft down again, and they were just going to bounce out. I think that's the thought they had. And as the generation took off, you know, they've seen that Microsoft, as I said, came to play. You know, there's a new team in place. They were rejuvenized. They had new ideas, and you know that. So they came back from, I guess you could say, the dust. And Sony just needs to grow a set and put the gloves on and get in the ring and do the dance like Nintendo and Sega did in the day. You know, they were initially doing in the day with the 360, and you know, you woke up a sleeping giant. You woke up a sleeping giant with very, very deep pockets that pulled themselves from having nothing, basically studio-wise, to being able to have as many studios as what they got. And you know, if this goes through, this included, competition's healthy.
You know, Jim Ryan, when he said,
it is healthy.
I believe in generations. We know what happened to the Sega generations, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So Sony's coming to
They
an
got
end.
Thanos. Unfortunately.
He forecasted. That's it.
Yeah.
Before the deal was announced.
Yeah. And by the way, right, for the past 20 years, the same three companies have been the only significant suppliers of console gaming: Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, with little or no entry from new rivals. Well, that's part of the. I mean, unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles. Sega was in there, right? They got pushed out. I don't, you know, I hate it, but that's how it happens, you know. Google threw their hat in the ring. They just sucked at it, you know. I don't. You know, in all honesty, you know, you guys, I mean, Peter and Chris, though, I talk to Phil Adam all the time about Intellivision Amico. I don't think I've once had a conversation with Phil where Phil or Tommy Tallarico said to me, well, you know, Mike, one of the biggest issues that we have right now in bringing the Amico to market is that we can't get Call of Duty. Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo, I mean, they're just, you know, they're just so big that we just don't, we can't enter the market at all. Who said? I mean, I have such. This is. I don't mind if they take a look at the deal, right? Everybody, you look at the deal because it's a big deal, right? All mergers,
yeah, I mean, it's
like
sure
this
needs
get looked
to
at.
be looked at. We're not saying that, right? That
but to
should
write
be automatically
this is,
approved,
right.
but you cannot come up with bullshit.
That's right. So that's all right. I'm sorry. I kept us for another 40 minutes. I did not mean to do that. It is 10 after 1, and a lot of us have to go to bed. So, I'm gonna
did it on purpose.
I know. I just wanted to keep. Exactly. So, and who? I don't even know. I mean, we've got a few people left. I know Dreadpool. When Dreadpool has to go, that's when you know.
That means that we have to close.
That means we're done. There's still 12 people hanging out. So, to you guys, love you guys, and this is a great night. So, let me get let me get my brother and sister here. Starting with the lady, of course, first. Miss Trinity, thank you. Oh my God, it's been so awesome. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And you know we love you. You know you are part of our family. I call you my sister, and that's just how we roll. But I did put it in the chat earlier, and it's in the description. But let everybody know where they can find you. And how to check out your great streams.
Alrighty. First of all, thank you for having Spooky and I on your pod. It was a pleasure, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. You guys rock. Fastback, Peter. You guys are just wonderful. So thank you for that. Sorry, I got
thank you.
It's been a very hot day today. It's like 113 today, so I'm like half out of
Hello.
it, but still here. Okay. So you can find me streaming wise, the Rockin' Warrior podcast on YouTube. So you can find me on YouTube. That's the only place I stream. I don't stream on Twitch for many reasons. And then on Twitter, Metal Ninja Xena is one of my pages, and then Warrior of Light is my second page. So I have one for my podcast and then my regular, personal page or whatever you want to call it. So that's where you can find me. Oh, and Thursdays and Fridays, I'm actually going to get back at it because I have something on Thursdays and Fridays, and I will be posting that information on Twitter, I believe, tomorrow. So you can find me there. And Spooky is actually one of my panelists.
Nice.
So actually my only panelist.
That's okay.
Yeah, he's been very supportive, and I appreciate him in this time because I know he's a very busy man. Very, very busy man indeed. So yes.
We should call it. We
So
should
that's where
take. We
everybody
should
can find
rename
me.
it the It Takes Two podcast.
Oh,
Nice.
there you go.
Oh, that's cute. I love that. That's super cute.
There
I
you
like
go.
that.
A podcast has been born here at NLG.
Hello.
Gosh.
Oh, that's wonderful. And again, thank you, Trinity, for being here. This will not be the last time. I assure you that.
Yeah, thank you.
So, and
And
brother
thank you again
Spooky?
for having
yeah.
me. You guys rock.
Oh, of course, absolutely. And brother Spooky,
Yeah, thank you, Trinity.
a brother from across the ocean.
Oh.
I was going to say I am still here. I didn't turn into a 4-year-old boy. that was
Huh?
mistake.
Yeah.
So,
That was my little fella. But no, thank you, gentlemen, for of course having me and Trin on tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure, and had an absolute blast, especially taking a stroll down memory lane as we did earlier, talking games from yesteryear in the broad. So really good time, really good time. Of course, you can find me on Twitter at SpookyTBG. And you can also find me on YouTube there under Spooky Breathtaking Gamer every Wednesday evening with the Backlog Bastards. And we'll be back tomorrow night. Same bastard time, same bastard antics, talking games again.
nice. And and again, at some point, you're gonna be back over here with us, and hopefully at some point, right next to Trin where you belong.
Oh,
So-
definitely.
I mean,
That'll be the day that we'll get everybody. Trinity will get her to start the video, and then I'll just pop up from behind the chair,
Nice. So, I mean, it's you guys are I've never seen two folks online that were made for each other like you two. I mean, just listening to you guys talk to each other, about each other, the stories, the gaming history, there's a word that we have, the word I've got in Hebrew, it's called besheret. Besheret means meant to be. And if there's anything that I have seen recently that is besheret, it is you guys. I wish nothing but the absolute best for the two of you, and cannot wait to see this chapter continue to unfold.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you
That
so
means a great
much.
deal, of course.
We love you guys, and
Yes.
you know that. So
We love you too.
No, I'm gonna give you back the horns.
The good old horns.
The good old horns. So, Peter, looked like you were frozen there for a second.
Here I am.
So, and somehow,
Rocking like a hurricane.
That's right. So Chris has painted open eyes on his eyelids. He's actually asleep.
I got a second wind, so I got to somehow try to fall asleep.
Yeah, so we're gonna get out of here so that you can do that. So, Peter, Chris, great. Peter, great having you back from vacation. This is exactly what we needed coming off of a long weekend and a hard first day back at work. Love you guys as always. This is what I live for on Tuesday nights.
Yeah. No, this is great. Long time coming. Wonderful having Spooky and Trinity on. So definitely look forward to more with you two.
Yeah.
We'll see where this goes.
Yes.
And to our chat, everybody that's left,
yes.
You guys, some of them hung out the whole time. Sean was here. Sean was here almost the whole 3 hours 45. Dread lasted a good few hours. We had some folks that hung for a while. Yobi's been here a couple hours. DJC's been here. Boogie's been here. Boogie's been here since almost the beginning. DJC, DJC even rolled out, came back, and brought all his friends. He brought the zoo with him.
Yes.
Brought the flamingos and
sir.
the cats. Except for that Art Big Fall asshole. That man he's not welcome here. So,
I was like, is he joking? I was like, oh, he's not. Okay. Goodbye, sir.
I'll explain
I had to do a
later.
double take. I said, is he whinging? I was like, oh my, that's not good. I was like, well, he's not going to last, I guess.
I can't forget brother.
Be kind, everybody. Be kind.
Yep.
Brother Dreadful.
Brother Dread, he rolled out. He had to go back to work. So Infinite was here. We had a lot of people in tonight. Thank you guys all. You know, the chat makes us who we are. Yobi was here the whole time. I know.
Yes.
Doggy was in here for a little bit. So,
Yeah,
you know who we haven't seen in a minute, Peter. We're Parent Pluck.
Yeah. I don't know,
man. We got
to.
We might have to do.
He's
I haven't
late.
seen him on. I haven't seen him on Twitter. I haven't seen him. We might have to do an SOS out on him. So.
Yeah, I think last time I seen him post was like a week or two ago.
That's our post, not too long.
Oh, same here.
I didn't. Okay. All right. We need to make
It's
sure.
just been a busy bee, I think.
Maybe I have to roughen him up a little.
Sending a SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets my message in a bottle.
Yeah,
I'll send him. I don't know if you can see the Dutch Mafia.
Yeah, please.
The Dutch Mafia. That's fantastic.
I didn't. Oh, that's cool.
My God.
I love it.
Did. So, all right. So, thank you, chat. I know what it's like to see Myke not like someone now. What? I know what it's like to see Myke not like. Oh, one of these days. You know, I keep. I know I'm not that guy. One of these days, I'm going to tell the story of the last 2 years of my online life. So, all I gotta say is,
Buckle up.
Buckle up, right? Because if you never knew what the Intellivision Amico was before, you gotta hear about it at some point. And at some point, I'm gonna let loose on all the bullshit that's happened to me in the last couple years. Trust me. It was really funny because I was on with Dread was on it. I was on Gaming Beyond the Box with Wilmy and his crew, and Wilmy was giving me a little. Peter was there. He was there with me that night. They were giving me a little friendly ribbing about the Amico not coming out, and I said, you guys could do that. It's pretty cool. You guys are all friends of mine. Because you guys don't take it to where some of the people online have taken it. And Wilmy's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
everybody else on the panel said, "Oh, you haven't seen the shit that they do to Myke." Yeah, it's been a rough time to be somebody who is interested in a console who's had a little trouble getting out of the gate. And one day I'm gonna let it all out. Just one stream where I just start the stream by going, the views and opinions expressed by me tonight are not indicative of NLG, Peter, and Chris. And once I get the disclaimer out of the way, I'm going to just let it out, get it off my chest, and then I'll be okay.
Unleash.
Anyway, but not for now. Tomorrow night, GoGameGo is on at 8 o'clock with their open chat, and then Amigo Forever with Brother DJC and Nick and Rab. Great show to hang out on. They are wonderful people. DJC has become a very close friend in the last year, and I'm grateful for all of those guys, Jeff and Nick and Rab and all of our GUG brothers, and are in the description down below. We've got Gamers United Guild shows all week long, and it all culminates back to us on Tuesday nights at 9:30. But there is something for everyone, and I think we're gonna have to talk about adding some international flair to this. I'm just saying. So we're gonna work on this. So anyway, everybody, thank you. And once again, Trinity, Spooky, thank you. Peter, Chris, great show as always. We will see you guys later. Have a great rest of the week, into the weekend. Pick up a controller, get some gaming in. Lay on,
yes.
gamers.
Game on.
Adios.
Game on, brothers and sisters.